guys soon. We'll leave you guys with Joe.
For like a minute, yeah.
For a couple minutes.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, see ya.
Bang! All right, it's your, you know who it is already, man. No introduction. What is that David Letterman show? This guest needs no introduction. Well, maybe I shouldn't blow my own head up like that, but shout out to Mr. Letterman and company. Why do I, but see, the thing is, I don't feel like I'm centered. There we go. We're centered a little bit better there. Assassino, tell me sit up straight and get in the middle of the camera there, my brother. But no, in all seriousness, guys, I don't got too much going on this morning, or even today. We're in the latter half of the session now. And for me personally, I was thinking short today. That volume was in. And we had that aggressive 3% sell-off, so I thought there was going to be a little bit of a continuation yesterday. We did get the gap ups, and I mean, anything can happen. We still have a couple hours left, and you never know what can. And later on, you can get those sell programs start to step in. I want to pull the chat up and see what everybody's up to here. We're going to go over a lot of your names and see what you guys are up to. So, excuse me. So yeah, with that being said, I mean, I've traded 4 names and they haven't gone well, so full disclosure on that front. We talked a little bit about the contracts that we sold Friday. Oh man, I was honestly, my weekend was made with just the fact that I just got rid of those, because me personally watching Bitcoin dip into like 108,000. I know one exchange had a dark pool wick or whatever it may be down to 102,000, and that time it would have just ruined the old weekend. So I'm glad that we got out of them, and there's gonna be plenty of opportunities to get back in. All right, boom. Bang, William Larson. This is what I'm talking about. Can we pull it up on the thing here, my friend? There it is. So this is a tip for my guy, Joey O. On Friday, he made the call to flatten, and because of that alarm, I saved 10 bands. We're gonna call you the band man, William Larson. I'm glad that that happened to you. And the same thing for me, man. Even though I didn't walk away with as much cash as I would like to, we had the ability to walk away with 4 figures. So yeah, we're happy about that. And we're just gonna continuously rolling. Listen, William, for me personally, and I think you're probably gonna fall in the same realm, is that the fact that aggressive selling, I like anything that is going to continue, right? So I wanna see Bitcoin run into that 109 so I can get involved. I want to see, are we doing the rundown or? Oh, okay. Oh, you're out of here? All right, man. Yeah, I mean, we can skip it. I don't mind. We can talk here all day. We can go over some psychology. We can go over whatever you guys please. But William Larson, I don't have the bang. I'm sitting here at Neil's desk, so I feel like I'm bringing a knife to a gunfight at this point with nothing on hand. So what does this do? Nothing. There we go. So, all right, that was a little lackluster. But yeah, at the end of the day, Obie, take your time. If you want to go take a break and everything like that, I don't mind to.
Give me like not even
do whatever you got to do, man. I can ramble on. Ramble on. Okay. I was gonna say ramble on. But anyways, you are not in the chat. Can you log into the chat, Jag? Jag, you're tagging me, my brother. I can see you in the chat. Sup, my man? But no, as for trading, a scenario like this, so, excuse me, so essentially what happened in April with the tariff tantrum and everything along those lines, and I think the market had priced in a best case scenario with the China deals. Now we're going to start to see a little bit of that being priced out of it, and that's what I want to see. I think some of the extension in the overall market is obviously done. A lot of people can agree on that, but it doesn't matter. Things are going to continuously grind if they decide to do so, and you don't necessarily want to be standing in front of those grinds. So the aggressive selling I really, really like, and I think it's going to give us a good opportunity to get into these strong names, the hyperscalers more or less, for me personally, right? That's where I shoot my highest accuracies, so I stick with them. There we go, Joseph Schmo. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking for. SoFi running apparently. I just see nothing. And you know what? Out of the gate, I mentioned that I was looking short. I've traded 4 names, and full disclosure, not a single one of them are green. We were relatively hot last week, and then today come in Monday morning, not as much. Everything was slightly disorganized, so I didn't have my routine in place, and sure enough, that can justify a little bit. And I was tired when I woke up this morning as well, too. Joseph, I can't wait for Trump to comment next on another taco day. Jag, yeah, I could not tag you, now I can't. Joseph, question, since you thought it was a short in the morning, would you take a short at DH? What is DH? What does DH stand for? Days high. Ah, there we go. There we go, just let it think. I don't know, I would like to see some indecision. Jag, you know what we're looking for is specifically what Gorev, Los Polios, and some other trade. Pathic now starting to participate on the indecision prints. So that's exactly what I'm going to be looking for. Until then, I have no really rush to get into anything. It's kind of the quote that I left with on Friday, is that precision beats power and timing beats speed, and that's how I kind of approach my trading. I would rather just like Obie, I would rather take less trades heavier than take a bunch of little trades, putting on a little bit of risk. Again, I'm not in this to, when I'm putting on my swing trades, for me, and as gritty as it may sound, but when you've been in this game for, come January, it's going to be entering my 5th year. I'm not in it for $500, $600. I'm looking to put on those mid 4-figure trades. And when I buy those contracts and shares, that's exactly my objective. And I think that's a mentality that you grow, especially with the people around you. And if you watch what a lot of the traders are doing, it's like the universe essentially isn't on a budget, so wish as large as you can. So that's my mentality. It takes some time. Intraday, significantly harder for me personally. Again, to each their own, but with swing trading is where I really hone in, and I try to just start punching, all right? So let's see what yes, I know you do. It happened in the 10 minutes, an hour back, which was days high. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to be looking. If I see the signals that I want, that's what I like though, Jag. The more overextension, the more that I see to the downside, the more I'm specifically going to like that, all right? So be balling. Only 5 years in the game. I know, I mean, it's a long time in this career. Most people drop out after a couple months because they believe that it's a get-rich-quick scheme. Unfortunately, that's not the case. That's not the reality that trading is. And to those who are those fraction of a percenters, congratulations to you, because you have the ability to achieve that what most can't. So yeah, big ups our mutual brother. Yeah, exactly, to our mutual brother. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm curious to see. You know what? We've never done this. We've never done this. Everyone in the chat, whoever's following along, just put the number in. How many years have you been trading? I'm going to start this off right now. I'm going to go 4, right? I'm in 4, boom, 4. So put that number in, and I want to see kind of how do we got a bunch of savvy vets in the room, more, less experienced individuals? Wow, here we go. There we go. We love it. Put in the months as well, too. So good stuff here, guys. I'm going to go through some of the names once it's all coming in, and thank you for the participation. Wyatt says 2 years. Hangry says wife. Charlie Taft, my guy, says 4 years. Zabo says 1 year in November. Dangerous, I know you've been in this game for some time. 15 years, 6 years, 7 years. Felix, Gorev, you've been in this game for 5 years, my brother? Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know. That's some big time stuff. 2.5, 7. Ken says 20. Ken, you don't even look over than 20. Obviously being sarcastic on that one, but nice work there. We'll go through a couple more names and see what everybody is up to and how long we've been trading. 12, we got 20, 4, 1, 2 months, 1, and a lot of participation there. So I thank you guys for that. Much appreciated for that. Makes my age 3 times, makes me age, oh. Jason, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. Believe it or not, your boy had a full head of hair and very little grays before I started trading, that's for sure. But see, the thing is, I think that's where it leads to the expectations of trading. Some people, just because of a lot of people on the internet and what they've read in books, is that they think they have the ability to go to 0 to 100 real quick. But that's not the reality. It's actually relatively slow, and it takes a lot of time, and we talk about the restructuring of your brain and the rewiring of it. And sitting through these charts and the ups and downs is what really gets you to that next level within trading. So my take is this market is cool. My take is this market is going to retest the lows of the day and maybe lows on Friday. That would be absolutely amazing. Okay, Howard, $10 super chat before we go down with the rundown. 38 years of trading stocks, bonds, options, plus dad plus grandpa traded. Grandpa was board boy on NYSE in the 1930s. So it runs in your veins. Like Katina Man, right? He was telling me his dad was getting him involved in trading. He was watching Jim Cramer from a JIT since he was a little kid. So yeah, congratulations to you, and I'm glad that that worked out, and hopefully you pass it down. But guys, it's time for the afternoon rundown.
Hello guys, welcome to the afternoon rundown with Adara. We're going to talk here about Celidian Technology. STI is the ticker for this one. It consolidated a little bit for the last hour, but nice breakout heading into just 1 hour before power hour. Now, what's the deal here with STI? Well, they did announce they're unveiling their advanced UPS battery system tailored for AI data centers. We know the market recently has loved battery-related catalysts with ABAT and data center-related catalysts always. What are your guys' thoughts on STI?
Yeah, let's pull up some STI right now and see what we got going on there. Adara, thank you very much for that. I mean, from an intraday standpoint, it's not looking too bad here as it's starting to climb higher. I was looking at Tesla not too long ago as well, too. So there it is, Solidion, however you pronounce it, technology starting to pump all the way from 9. Wow. Okay, that's a big time move. And you know what? It's nothing like a parabolic one candle or a couple candles where you're getting it. It's a nice substantial grind higher, but 186% from an intraday perspective, not too bad, but from $9 all the way to 26 and a high of just under 27. My little brother is calling me on the phone right now. Little does he know that we get the American holidays, not the Canadian ones. So shout out to them. A big gap out right here from you close on Friday at $6 roughly, and then you climb all the way up to $27 on STI. So from a technical standpoint, Adara, not too bad of a look. 189% on the day.
Hi, we're going to talk here about TSLA. Tesla, Evercore ISI, raising its price target on the stock to $300. Then Melius, initiating coverage here with buy rating and $520 price target. TSLA, clearly liking these catalysts, pushing higher. And also, their China sales, actually not bad here. Still down on a year-over-year basis, but up on a month-over-month basis. So how do we feel, guys, about Tesla? Are you guys looking to jump in that car?
See, the thing is, though, Adara, I don't want to have to hail it down too much, so we might have to hop in the app or something to get that one rocking and rolling. But yeah, I mean, I was not expecting this in Tesla. We did have a little bit of a move on TSLA, and we got out prematurely, but this grind higher, I was not suspecting that whatsoever. But I mentioned this earlier in the morning to Sean, just considering how aggressive Friday's selling was. I was going to suspect an inside day and then maybe a little bit of a move to the downside, cracking through some key support levels. But I mean, China numbers not too bad with Tesla. The tax incentive obviously is in the past now, which might have gave a little bit of a boost. But at Tesla, personally, I think a little bit more selling is warranted. Maybe not, but before we approach that previous all-time high, I would like to see a little bit of a liquidity grab below those supports in which I was showing earlier, and then a continued move to the top side. And I'm looking across the board on a lot of these tech names for the exact same scenario. We need them to cool down a little bit, and then sure enough, even though we did experience that 3% pullback in the overall market, I'm looking for a little bit more, 5.5 to 6%, and see if we can get that move. But today's price action of 5% is displaying otherwise.
Yeah, I think this one's definitely going to be on watch as well. Something I've been mentioning As much as some of these intraday moves are kind of choppy and consolidative, especially on something like a Tesla, I'm noticing that it is doing some a relative volume or increasing volume in the blue ocean session.
Yeah.
The average volumes are increasing, so we're seeing that participation, and sometimes we can see some interesting levels show up in both sessions. I think 420, a little interesting place as well. That's holding as a bit of a double bottom. We can see that in the pre-market session right there, a bit of a gap up hold on top of that 420 as well. And that's where buyers came in pretty much all day. You can see retest here. Even this shake and bake, you look like you're kind of pushing, you fail. It's kind of apparent that sellers might be taking over, and that's an aggressive pull back in, almost 100% reversion of this leg. It is 100% reversion of this leg, but take a look at this strength. Nice consolidation and a nice slow bleed back up, almost back to reference prices from Friday. Oh boy. Now Friday was absolutely crazy. Everyone said the sky was falling, and the markets were falling as well. And it's interesting to see some of these stocks kind of reverting as if nothing happened, right? A little bit of panic selling on on Friday, and then a bit of reversion, and then some on coming in on Monday. So interesting action nonetheless. This thing is consolidating, so back within range here. I was looking for a potential continuation. That 400 held exceptionally well. We reclaimed 420, and we're poised for a little bit higher as of right now as we trend towards some fresh prices on Tesla. So it's a good look there.
Yeah, Big Bear definitely not looking too bearish right now. Name is one of Sean's favorites, and they actually have a catalyst this morning partnering up with T-Second to deliver this AI-enabled edge infrastructure. BBAI, kind of similar to Palantir, will often get these pops higher on catalysts that are related to contracts. Now, BBAI, just under 22% short float. Thoughts?
Ooh, BBAI, baby. Let's see what we got saying. We don't even have to say his name, and we already know who loves this stock very, very much so. Obie, on Friday after the day ended, what was I saying to you? I was messaging you. I'm like, yeah, blue ocean. Oh, yeah. Blue ocean. Come Sunday night, and sure enough, you have the ability to catch that gap up, so the market did recover. The thing is, though, I think if we were in a little bit more of a panic mode, we would have seen some more continuation on today's session. That necessarily wasn't the case. It was actually the total opposite in what I was thinking. And why? I'm just going off of previous data, right? Like, look what happened last April. I mentioned it earlier when we were getting involved with all the tariffs. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at some point throughout this week if we do get an aggressive selling session, but it's not going to be today, unless it's coming within the next couple hours. But as for BBAI, a really nice move. Let's pull out to a daily and see what we got cooking up on this. And I mean, we're just right back to where we essentially peaked on Friday. This selling pressure, I would have never have guessed that we were just gonna climb back up all the way to $8.85. Now, as for tomorrow's session, if we have the ability to sit on top of this range, then I would like that continuation. So yeah, BBAI really starting to move. These AI plays, the quantum plays, not looking bad whatsoever, Obie.
Yeah, man, I'm seeing squeezes across the board.
Yeah.
And a little bit, maybe a little bit of the same happening here on BBAI. Again, aggressive selling, maybe people positioning in on Friday. You can see this is just a 3-hour chart, but we clipped that prior structure high and we closed near day low around 7. So if you're like, oh boy, maybe we're positioning in, this is it, this over, range high, basically a false break of the range high, guess what? We come into this week and boom, back up to those highs. So everybody positioning in on those swing shorts is getting absolutely a little sweaty here as we push back up into some of those highs. So I do like the way the structure is building on this. I like the way the volume's been pushing up into this push up into $9. Can we get to 1050s? I mean, that would technically be the next spot. We know that BBAI has the ability to kind of move the way it does if and when that kind of participation steps in, and it seems like it's getting started a little bit. I'm starting to hear the bear starting to maybe grumble a little bit. We haven't heard it roar just yet, but the grumble is definitely there.
It's been poked.
AMD rumbling to the downside today, guys. This one only advancing lower. Not much of a catalyst here for AMD. We know this one was on watch last week with their OpenAI deal. In fact, they actually pushed a little bit lower on this 9 a.m. candle as Broadcom announces an OpenAI deal of its own. Either way here, AMD, only catalyst I could really find for today. Mizuho raising its price target in the stock from 205 to 275. AMD trading near day's lows. Would you guys get involved here?
From an intraday standpoint, yeah, sure, we get involved, but there's zero chance that I'd be buying AMD all the way up here. There's actually negative chance that I would even do anything along those lines. I'm glad that they're really starting to participate. They've been doing it since the April lows. You had that lengthy downtrend. After that tariff tantrum, you get that bounce up there, and then the stock goes from $75 all the way up to $240. That's a 217% increase. I would not be buying up here, regardless of who they're striking deals with. For me personally, I just think this space is slightly overbought in the long duration, so I'm waiting for more of a pullback in AMD, and I wouldn't be surprised if we run into 200 at some point in the near future.
Yeah, AMD is kind of showing us a little bit more of what it showed us last week. Sellers stepping in and around those same areas. This was interesting to me. This right here, this consolidation high. This is a 15-minute chart. This consolidation high from Friday, where we could not get past this 221, and we sold off even more aggressively into the after hours with a low of 207.28. Now coming back into today, kind of gapping up, pushing back into some of those levels. I was looking for this to kind of hold or fail. Didn't really give us too much. It did kind of chop around. So pre-market highs, if you're using those, that definitely that could have definitely been used to be like, all right, well, we false broke those. Sellers stepping back in on 224s and trending a little bit lower as well. So we haven't quite gotten down to prior day's lows, but that gap up brought sellers right back in on a name where we saw, again, aggressive push. What was this absolutely crazy bid up, almost 35% pop, and a flush consolidation, sideways run, fresh highs, all-time highs on AMD, and now we're holding that structure. So right here I see these lows at 202s, these lows at 207s. Now the question I'm asking is, if these sellers are dominant, how far can they push it down? Do we hold any sort of structure? We're still holding some of these reference pullbacks from the crazy move that we had last week on the OpenAI deal from AMD. So maybe sentiment is shifting. We kind of talked about how yeah, the whole time it was NVIDIA. NVIDIA was, NVIDIA was the belle of the ball, and it was just like everybody was like, oh, we trust NVIDIA. That's the AI chip, and waiting for other chips like AMD and maybe even Intel kind of beat down a lot more than some of the market leaders. Finally, AMD got that seal of approval from a strong AI company like OpenAI, who's been making these deals, and they finally got a little bit of a bid, retracing and maybe bringing some of that price back up to what people think was, or people thought maybe it was mispriced or whatever. Regardless, buyers step in on that catalyst, and we're holding up consolidation. So I'm watching this, advancing for sure. As long as we hold these consolidation lows, I think we're still within an uptrend on AMD.
Okay.
Speaking of AI deals, our last name on this rundown also involves an AI deal, and that is Broadcom. Broadcom and OpenAI announcing this morning that they have a partnership for 10 gigawatts of custom AI accelerators. And then here's almost maybe the more interesting part of this. Broadcom's chip president saying on CNBC that their mystery $10 billion customer that they mentioned back in September is not OpenAI. So what that means, guys, is there's another customer outside of OpenAI ready to spend a lot on AVGO.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing, right? All these hyperscalers and the chip names are starting to become intertwined in some way. And people talk about a bubble, but Sam Altman has his hands in every cookie jar at this point, it seems like. So, I mean, another pop-up there, not too bad. And then it's just essentially moved sideways. If we pull up this name from a daily standpoint, I think one thing to note is that, yeah, we fill up the gap. We don't get quite to this pre-pivot right here at 316.20s, and then you just punch through some of the resistance zones right here at 347s, and then you're off to the races. So as for Broadcom and just the chip space in general, I'm looking to start to rotate out of this GPU craze and then maybe into some financials or something along those lines. We know we got the reports coming out tomorrow, starting tomorrow anyways, with some of the big banks. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. good. It is a very nice look in Broadcom from the April lows, right? If we go down, we just almost doubled in price, more than 155% to where we're currently trading at the high of the day, even more from that previous pivot high. But I'm waiting for these names to cool down. Why? Because I don't want to buy them all the way up here. At some point, the market will find something to sell off on. You just have to be patient enough and sit on a little bit of cash and wait for that catalyst to come in.
I think that's a good look there. AVGO had it on watch this morning. I was like, all right, cool. Another OpenAI catalyst. And to be honest, I was looking to potentially take the reversion of this leg because we saw what AMD did. We saw what some of the other names did on that OpenAI bid gap up. Not really a strong continuation, but yeah, a little bit of a pullback here. Sideways chop since then, holding that 350 as of right now with a day low of 343 on AVGO. So nothing too crazy, but we'll be right back with some breaking news.
Papa John's, PZZA, popping higher. Reportedly, there is a $64 bid for PZZA. Now, the high of the day right now is just below $48. So this reported bid is well above where PZZA is currently trading again. This is not the first time we've heard of a potential sale here for PZZA, but either way, reportedly a $64 bid. Back to you.
There you go. Let's take a look at Papa John's. Thank you for that there, Dara. As always, PZZA, Papa John's. There it is, a big time move. So, I mean, $65 potential offer on that one. You're going to see this probably continue to climb. We can go back out to the daily and see what's going on there. What's Domino's Pizza's ticker?
DPZ.
DBZ?
DPZ.
DPZ. Domino DPZ.
And they report tomorrow, DPZ, so interesting timing.
DPZZZ.
We get a nice delivery tomorrow.
Delivery, yeah, so there it is on Domino's Pizza, and then PZZA also getting a little bit of a move there as well, too. So thank you for bringing that to us, Adara. Let's see. I'm really curious to see if that's going to be a continuation throughout today's session, or this is just going to, oh, wow. Okay, there it goes. Bang, 5-minute candle close. You go from 46 all the way up to 50. Volume supporting the move and starting to increase. So don't chase it. Be patient, but all the way up to $65 as Adara brought us. I wouldn't be surprised if price action leads into that area, Sharif, Obie.
Thank you. I mean, I might not be as big.
Yeah, wait, close.
I take it as a compliment. You know,
what is that? Is that
the sweater's a little loose.
Yeah,
Make me look a little
it's
big,
a little loose. I got you guys make some same muscle mass kind of and density.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he'd be too happy.
No. You'd be like, what the heck?
What do you mean?
What's up with that lunch you got going on over there?
Yeah, I've been kind of working at it, and I haven't really had a chance to
eat it. Is that from
it's
club?
Yeah, it's the lobster egg sandwich, and I've been taking nibbles at it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's really good?
Oh, it's so good.
Give me a rating
on it. Out of 10, I'd say about a 7.5.
Oh.
Pretty solid.
Adara.
What's going on, Adara?
Let's talk more about pizza, specifically Papa John's Pizza. Again, so here's a report. Reuters is citing a source saying that Apollo Global, or APO, has reportedly offered $64 a share to acquire Papa John's Pizza. Apparently, these talks are in the advanced stages, and there actually could be a deal finalized within weeks if these discussions continue to progress. Now, Earth Capital was previously linked to this deal. Now it's unclear if they're still involved, but either way, Apollo reportedly involved here with PZZA, Papa John's. Back to you.
So yeah, I mean, we're still looking at it. $64, trading at 49. Keep an eye out on this one just in case it decides to gap up, or that's going to be the actual buyout price. I mean, why not get involved with that? Obi, I think you're a little bit more well-versed in buyouts than I am. Mm-hmm. So if the buyout price is going to be around $64, why not just YOLO here at 50 and then wait for it to go? And
16?
Yeah, it's a 64.
The thing about buyout deals is you got to understand the nuances.
Yeah.
Of that. There's a lot of I'm sure there's a lot of algos and everybody that runs a bit of an arb on that. And yeah, if you're trading like M&As and you want to be the first to the news, like those guys are probably like you can see the chart on Joe's screen there. Those guys are probably already getting in 43s, 44s, 45s, 46s.
Those guys are in. What do you mean? They're in way before that.
Yeah, of course. So but that's what I'm saying. Is like it's technically a breaking news trade, right? So it's just like they're already in, pricing in a lot of stuff. They're
already positioned.
But if you see it down at 43s, then I love that idea. That idea is like, of course I'm going to get in here 43s, right? So that's something that you do want to kind of watch out for. But it's something that I'm not going to be that fast. I'm not going to be that kind of a participant.
Okay.
So that's something you gotta definitely watch out for. But it's good. I want to see that continuation. But I like M&As. But we got a little bit of business right now. So guys, each year 3.8 million concussions are reported in the United States. Yet there's still no FDA-approved treatment. So NYSE listed Orogenics, that's OGEN, is changing that with its first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Orogenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today.
Yes, sir. So, Chef Joe. Okay, that might be the only pie that I indulge in is pizza pie. And shout out to Detroit style pizza as well too. We'll give those. All right.
You like the deep dish?
I love a deep dish.
Yeah.
I love a deep dish. I like all pizza really, to be honest.
Favorite Toronto pizza place?
Oh, easily Batty.
Batty Alley's,
Yeah, easily. There's
so cliche, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It's so cliche.
But there's a reason. When you're the best, you're the best.
I mean, Batty Alley's is nice. They're nice.
Okay. We'll stop there. What is yours?
I think Batty Alley's pretty.
Oh, so cliche, bro.
No. There's a few spots. I'm trying to remember. What's the other one?
North of Brooklyn.
Right. Yeah, north of Brooklyn is pretty dope as well. I like that. Batty Alley's is a little oily. That's the thing. It's like it's really kind of good.
It's amazing.
But I can't eat a lot of it. Like it'll definitely hit you.
Let me remind you all that Batty Alley's almost definitely paid for a sponsorship at Law & Order Toronto, because there's a scene where they were there where they did not need to be there, and they clearly say Batty Alley's. I find that a little sus, to be honest.
What? I know it, Derek. I know you don't like that. I know you don't like that, but in all seriousness, I love Batty Alley's. I think it's fantastic pizza. Renaissance is pretty good. That's Detroit
There's
style.
another one called, I think it's called Fourth Man from the Fire as well. I think that one, I like that one as well. They do like donuts and stuff as well.
Oh, nice. There's Dino's Wood Oven Pizza, which isn't too bad. But Jag, my good friend Jag, Joseph, I have an options question on open interest. When do they close these contracts? Let's say there are 10,000 open interest on a ticker with an expiry at 4 p.m. Do those contracts stay open until then? Yeah, until they close or they expire worthless, right? But what happens is is we look for the rollover as well too, right? So if you are in the money on your short contracts, essentially what you can do is roll them over to a further dated so they stay open. They're not closed just yet. So, but come Friday, and you look at the options chain on Monday and the size is substantially decreased, then sure enough, what happens is a lot of those contracts have expired. But if that size stays relatively the same and even starts to increase, you can look at it as a potential rollover as well too. So a lot of individuals rolling those contracts over. But the money man himself, Money Mitch.
All right, guys, so it's time to start looking for things that have consolidated and found support here. So one name I'll bring up really quickly, USAR. You can clearly see the consolidation here and now starting to pick up. So this is the area where I can start looking for recovery above this $40 spot. I think this is a great one to look at. One name that is breaking the high. So I look at normally like a leader and laggard. The leader, UAMY. You can see how it's starting to break the high there at 1664. So I think this is a really good setup as we start to look for the miners and the mineral plays to start getting hot again. Another play here is very similar, right? ABAT. Take a look at this one. Was just earlier, was in that kind of flag pattern. Now it's sideways here. Just broke above 9 here. Let's see if this can make a run maybe towards 10. Taking a look at some of these plays. I think these are the ones you need to be looking at. Nice little pullback consolidations that haven't really broken, probably haven't broken VWAP and have been staying above VWAP or right at VWAP.
All right, yeah. So
thank you very much, Mitch. Sorry, I wanted to ask, how's the Beat the Ackman going? Are we beating Ackman or what's happening?
He's always beating Ackman, man. I mean, we've been on that GWH. Did you guys see that move to 14?
What percent move was that? Wild.
It was a beauty. I know that we were first on that at 7. At 7 here, guys.
That,
so, I mean, just imagine where that could be, right? Those are the types of trades that don't only make the day, could make a career, really. Let's be honest.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, for this is, I'll pull up the chart here as well. Yeah, $7. Mitch was talking about this at $7 right here. That's when this volume really starts to increase. And take a look at that extension. So from that point of price compression and really where that bid steps in, 100% move. $7 to $14, yeah, that's absolutely solid, man. This is what I was talking to Sharif about as well. When these things really get going, these can go absolutely crazy. Now, yeah, how much volume has this thing done? Yeah, there you go, 147 million shares. Right, so you can definitely have distinct counterparties to kind of play around with. Absolutely, what's going on?
This guy banned. He's back somehow.
He's back?
Yeah, I don't know.
You banned him and he's back.
Yeah.
Back from the depths of the ban.
Oh boy. Another one.
I'm surprised you actually noticed.
Yeah, you know what that's saying? People don't forget. I'm that individual. I don't forget. No, in all seriousness. All right. I don't know what you're asking me, but I'll answer your question. If we're bullish pizza, why do we always dump it at the end? I don't quite understand what's going on. Yeah, Maxi, I might have done that, to be honest with you. Let's see if we can get a move down here in the market back to VWAP as Tesla's starting to cool off a little bit there, Obie. Double top there on the TQs. Double top on the TQs. I would have liked to get a substantially better entry, about 20 cents higher than where I'm currently trading at, but we'll take this double top. Let's see if these big names want to start to come back in a little bit. Sellers step in, and we get that move to the volume-weighted average price. But Adara, what do you got for us?
What I have for you guys is kind of an odd catalyst on DBRG, Digital Bridge. Elon Musk has started following the CEO of the company on X. And that appears to be why DBRG is moving. Now, I want to clarify as well. I've seen a couple different posts, like starting as of yesterday, of Elon Musk following different CEOs. It's unclear if he just started following him now, but either way, it's currently circulating on X that he followed this guy. So either way, Digital Bridge CEO now being followed by Elon Musk. Back to you.
Right on. So yeah, that's what I got going on, guys. I'll pull up my chart here. So I got a lot of things. Neil's setup. My old setup. Let's see what we got going on. Shout out to Neil, though. Hopefully he's doing pretty good. And we'll pull that up. Let's see if we can get this move. We got some key support levels that we need to punch, but there is a neckline right around 102.80, double top there at 103.60s. So let's see if we can get that to come in. This is going to be our attempt. Like, I mean, we tried it here, got stopped out, tried it again, got stopped out, tried it one more time, and got stopped out. So maybe this will be the one. If not, then that is going to be our at-bats, and we will have struck out there one more time. So that's all I got going on right now. Obie, someone in the chat was asking us about Triple U.
Oh, there it goes.
I just don't think there's enough liquidity in this name, in my opinion.
What? Isn't it doing like crazy volume today?
Look at you. This is not doing.
I mean, no, you're looking at the wrong one.
Triple U?
Quadruple U is probably what they mean.
Is that what they meant?
U. There's one more U in there.
One more Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
One more Soldier Boy in there. All right. So yeah, I mean, okay, that's a different story.
I know that thing's doing.
Now we could talk a little bit different, right? Now we can speak a different language. Here it is, bang. You have that wedge starting to be formed. Let's see what happens on that front. But let's go, bang. There it goes, Obie. A nice move to the downside on the TQs. Let's hold this, man. We're going to continue to hold this until we get down to the volume-weighted average price and see if that starts to pick up the momentum. This is exactly what we want to. Shout out to our boy Charlie Taff, who told me a while ago that he was going to look for a short on the market. I didn't think sellers were going to just disappear just like that, especially after Friday. Hopefully they step right back in. Probably won't be as equally aggressive, but if we do get some of them starting to participate, we're already in our position.
I mean, I'm looking for that to happen. And I don't know if you remember, over the past couple of weeks, we started to see some interesting price action. Google would wick like $1. You remember that? Google would randomly wick $1. It did this for like a couple of weeks. $1 down and then rip right back.
Right back up.
So like there were cracks that were happening. right before the selling became aggressive.
Yeah.
Right. And remember what I said. Remember what I said on Friday. The first thing to you guys when I came in, I'm like, I feel something weird. I'm like,
yeah,
like,
you
these
did.
sellers,
You did. Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
like something's weird gonna happen.
So
I don't know. I'm feeling it. The way we're trading, and oh boy, did that selling came in not only last Friday, the Friday before, but last Friday as well. So it should be interesting going into the end of this week as well to see if we get more of the same. Interesting stuff nonetheless. It's almost as if price action is kind of telling. You know, the calm before the storm can almost be picked up on the price action. But you know what? It is what it is. You don't know. I didn't know that the presidential tweet is going to bring in that kind of sell volume. But the thing is, what we saw was that sellers were looking for any and every reason to get involved. We saw what happened on the Oracle. We saw what happened on the AMD like before the rip up. So like any and every reason to sell was getting just slammed into.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly.
So it's just like, okay, maybe more reasons to sell. Like that's the liquidity coming in. They're going to sell to that. I have no idea how that works. But regardless, it's almost interesting to see how that kind of panned out. And we did take a little bit of a pullback, but these reversions, man, we're still sticking. We're still holding up pretty nicely. Like names like Tesla, names like Alphabet, like look at Google. Google's pretty much reverted back to prior day's highs, right? Damn. Sure, selling came in Thursday, Friday, but reclaiming that prior day's action all the way. Like let's take a quick look at Google, man. This is absolutely wild, absolutely crazy. So like I said, everyone you know was crying that the sky was falling on Friday. You know, Bitcoin with a bit of a crack on was it Sunday or Saturday, something like that. I started getting alerts. I'm just like, oh no, it was the same day. It was Friday night. Yeah. So I started getting alerts. I'm just like, yo, Bitcoin's getting cracked. Absolutely beautiful reversion.
I know.
From 107s to 115s, and I was like, oh boy, that was great. I mean, that was a solid reversion to have if you had it. But liquidations galore. Some of the biggest liquidations.
Yeah.
But funny enough, a couple of weeks ago, I was like, okay, you know, I'm not going to buy up here. I'm waiting for that aggressive pullback. I want to see, because we know how Bitcoin kind of moves. Like, we've been around long enough to be like, all right, this thing can have days where it gets absolutely destroyed. It has periods of time where it can pull back 50, 60, 70%.
Yeah.
And over time, those have probably been some of the best places to kind of pick it up and start, you know, DCAing after those sellers are done. So now that I'm getting more comfortable with the concept of reversions, I definitely have eyes on some of these strong
going to the top side there.
Well, to the top side as well, but these aggressive sells that get picked up as well. I like those as well.
Bang! There goes the market to the downside there. Obie, bang! This is what we're talking about, man. At some point, we had a feeling that they were going to step back in. Let's Diamond Haynes, Deontay Wilder this and see if we can get that back into the volume-weighted average price. 102.50 is going to be that primary target. And on this pace, I think we'll get there momentarily. So let's pack our patience. I'm going to hold on to this full position just due to the earlier losses that I endured. So essentially, what I'm looking for is a strong risk to reward, the continuation to the downside, and just holding full size until target. So yeah, let's zoom out a little bit. View up on P8 is going to be slightly different than some of your other platforms here. This starts generating data at 6 a.m. Opposed to what the overall market is at 4 a.m. But yeah, there it is, double top. That neckline, I think this is going to be a good place to maybe take some. So I'll eat those words relatively quick, 30 cents away from the primary target. But if we do get to the lower end of that range, I'm going to look to slowly piece them out. Nor am I that substantially heavy either as well. So Netflix earnings, hero puts are important. Hero puts. Actually, let's do this. Considering that we're running into earnings week, guys. Oh, I don't have it up here. Let's see if I can find it. Options, AI, expected move. This is the site that I always bring to you guys. And then we're going to go through the calendar and look at some of these names. I'll just start off with JP Morgan. Man. Obie, I just need a straight up answer, but let's not complicate this. If you can own one stock and one stock only, what would it be?
In the States? Like
let's not complicate it. Let's not complicate it.
Yeah.
One stock and one stock only.
Google.
Bang. I like it. I love the way my man thinks. That's a great call. I can't debate that. Put that in the chat as well, too. RB says BMNR. Okay. to each their own. Now, as for our expected move here on JP Morgan, we're looking at about 4.6% with a high of around 322.03 and a low of around 293.83. So not too bad of a look there. Let's take a look at our options chain to see if we have any concentrations of open interest that we want to keep our eye out on. And we'll pull up the old chain and see what we got going on with JPM. Oh, okay, I don't like this signal here that we're experiencing. Nah, I can hold through that. So we'll still hold on to this position. Nice selling from 47s all the way down to 13s, 103 there. Now, JPM's options chain, let's look for the concentrations. If there is any, nothing substantial. At the money IV sitting around 49%, nothing crazy. And yeah, I don't see any call walls, specifically 315, a little bit there, 7,500 contracts. As for the volume, nothing substantial. I think we're gonna see a little bit more activity on the put side. No, I'll eat that real quick as I see that we have 13,900 contracts right there at that 335 strike price. Volume, nothing crazy on that one. But yeah, that's going to be the largest on the puts from what I'm seeing. So could that act as a potential base right at 300? Shout out to, what's his name? Jared Butler, is it? That's it. That's it. Gerard Butler. Bang. All right. Anyway, get it, Gerard. Says Adira. Yeah, that's the guy from 300, no? I know, I corrected myself to Gerard. I don't know why I said Gerald. But yeah, so there it is on JPM. We'll go through some of the other names later on, and then we'll also take a look at some of the top performing sectors momentarily. But Obi, what do you got cooking up there?
I mean, I'm watching that Tesla. I saw that pullback come in. I'm watching the market as well, kind of dabbling in a little bit of a feeler here. And it's okay, so I was like, what time is that? I'm looking across everywhere for the time. I'm like, wait, just look at the tape, dude. The tape tells you the time faster, like the tick happens a lot more than every second. But yeah, 2:46 as of right now. So just about just shy of 15 minutes into power hour here. Tesla did look like it's kind of breaking the bid, but picked up pretty decently. So a little bit of a feeler here. We'll see if that one kind of comes in. But yeah, going into the end of the day, Tesla's strength, I really like that. Let's see if that potentially, there you go, stop me out right here. So yeah, a little bit of a feeler, pulling back into 433s, just 434s, just shy of that, pulling back in. So yeah, not what I was looking for. I'm looking for that to come in right away. And funny enough, I punch in and I'm like, okay, it goes $1. I'm like, all right, well, if this is gonna go, I don't have the size that I really want just yet. And I think I'm getting definitely much better with this. And we've been talking about this as well.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, being really nimble and light when you're just like, okay, this is kind of the area or whatever, just testing, throwing some stuff out. But actually, when the trade shows up, just exponentially sizing and being like, okay,
I think that's really important.
This is the place. I definitely want to be, 10 times more
Beta Pro
than what I want to be in. And look at that, Tesla coming right back in. So sellers stepping right back in off of that 435 area. So if we're going to reject 435 after a high and also breaking the trend, I'm going to be a little bit patient. The market's taking a little bit of a pullback as well. So let's take a quick look at what else is moving around here. TSM, man, these are wow, ARM as well. Remember, I was like, oh, ARM, I don't want to necessarily revert ARM. Guess what? This is what I'm talking about. When I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, this is a reversion, this is a reversion. You see a lot of false positives, and over time, you get to really discern some of those false positives from the actual ones that are worth taking. And take a look at this. I was just like, yeah, I don't want to be involved necessarily. Look, trend break, sure, it gave you that $2. Right, but is that what I'm looking for, buddy? VWAP's all the way down at 166. Is not like that's not the kind of action that we're looking for. And look at that straight blast back up to the highs. You're probably getting stopped out if you haven't gotten out already. So ARM really strong to the upside right now. Strong arming some shorts.
Ooh, strong like bull.
Strong like bull.
Strong like bull. All right, guys. And now for some exciting news out of Canada for the sophisticated traders on the stream. Beta Pro by Global X, Canada's largest provider of leveraged, inverse, and inverse leveraged ETFs, has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs, offering 3x bull and 3x bear exposure to the SPY and TSS 60, semiconductors, and on U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special free rebate, dropping fee rebate, dropping management fees to just about 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. Plus, the US-focused strategies use currency hedging, offering the potential for pure performance and exposure. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more now, guys. All right. So yeah, I mean, there it is. We're still sitting in this short here on the TQs. You can see that we did run into some support levels right at 103. So maybe we'll get another pop up. Hopefully we go mid-range there, and then we continue that southeast trajectory. But Mitch, I know you're always good to go, but are you good to go? I want to ask you a couple questions here, if that's all right. So what I wanted to lead towards is that we noticed that you're pretty good at picking some of these names and how they're running, and I wouldn't necessarily call it front running it, but give us a little bit on some of the criteria. I don't know if you're running a scanner or something that you're specifically looking for that allows you to find these movers.
Good question. Yeah.
I feel like people do things wrong, right? They come in the morning, the majority of traders do what? Gappers. What's the gapper? No, I think the opposite. I'm always looking at sector, industry.
Hold on, Mitch. Hold on, Mitch. We got a little Mikey issues. We'll get back to you there momentarily. Is it on?
There you go. 1, 2. I'm back. I'm good.
He's back. All right.
Sorry about that. So like always, guys, the one thing you want to be doing, right, is working backwards, not forward. Everyone comes in and they look at the gappers list. The gappers list is kind of a trick. It's telling you this stock is hype, right? Well, you want to find the industries and the sectors that are hot. Then you'll find a theme within that to play, right? And these aren't all in the same industries, but I always focus on the theme. What's coming into play? What's being talked about on earnings reports, right? Like one of the ones I'm watching now is the genomics. Genomics is getting a lot of talk. Healthcare is getting a little bit hotter. So I'm keeping focus on those names. A lot of times I'll start building watch lists and I'll wait for a leader to show me the move. I call them show me moves, right? That's a big stock taking a big move, right? In healthcare, we have TEM and Grail doing really well. Those are AI stocks in healthcare. So I'm starting to shift towards some of the healthcare watch, and this is how you find plays, right? Same thing with the nuclear space. You just grab all the names, you put them in a watch list, and you watch that leader to laggard style of trading. Always start with the macro, then go into the micro.
I'm hearing it a lot this morning, Mitch. People are correlating you with Steph Curry. How's your jumper? Those lines are all right.
That's all I gotta say. You can see the form. You can see the form.
You can see the form. It's all in the form, and within the trading as well too. No, fantastic stuff. So as we were talking about you just looking for that specific sector and industry, and then you're looking for leaders and laggers. How do you kind of weave out some of the noise and just hyper focus on some of the names that you think are going to be running on the day?
So a lot of things always are going to go back to the daily charts, right? I always say swing trading is my bread and butter. There's a reason why. I focus on daily charts first, and then I look for intraday to show me that the momentum the timing is correct, right? Because a lot of times in day trading, it's about timing, right? So one of the things you want to be looking at is just aligning yourself with the best daily charts, especially right now that we're having a market that trend trading is probably one of the best strategies out there right now. So that's what you want to be doing in this current environment. It's always about what current environment you're in. So you got to adjust your strategies towards that. But right now, it's all about trend trading, and you're going to follow those dailies. You're looking for pullback to like a 9 EMA or short-term moving average, whichever one you want to use, really. It doesn't have to be the 9. I use the 9 because the MACD, right, kind of plays in with it. And I know that traders look at the MACD and they're looking for the cross, so that's why I use the 9, because it's the signal, right? But I think this is the way to do it, guys. And I think that if we want to win as retail traders, what do we want to do? We want to focus in on the flavor of the day. What's the flavor of the day every time when you come in? And you're going to find that if you have a good watch list, like I do, I put like 50 names under that watch list, and I just look at right at the open. And it depends at the open. I look at percentage change from the open. And I look at what's leading there. Are there 3 or 4 names? Is it quantum? Oh, it might be a quantum day. Let me go looking in there. Oh, Rigetti's leading? Let's go look at QUBT, QBTS. Maybe we can find one that's lagging or doing a red to green move while the other ones are just doing a gap and go.
Yeah, you know, fantastic stuff. So yeah, so another thing, as for the competition, who's leading it? How much cash are they up? Where are you sitting from a ranking standpoint? How's that going on?
Well, right now, I got to get the new updated list, but definitely we have some traders just kicking butt right now. They're making me swing harder and harder, and that's how you know they're doing well. So I'm excited to see who takes the top position. I remember last time $1 million wasn't enough, so we'll see what happens this time, right? 100%. So going to be pushing towards getting towards that 500,000 level. I'm going to be looking to see who gets up there. Right now, I'm still keeping an eye on this GWH to see if it goes for another ride up. Definitely holding in on the 10 here. So let's see if we can get this next push up, right? I've been in this one for multiple times. Let's see if we can really get another push up into that level and start to find some buyers here. And I want to tell you guys about my best pattern, which is the rule of 3. So the rule of 3 says we always get 3 tests of resistance, 3 tests of support before we get the breakout. So I actually look for these all the time. This gives me the ability to look at flag patterns and triangle patterns, and instead of trying to always get in and look for the breakout, actually build the position up, right? So in this case, right, like on this stock, you get in a breakout, a pull back, a breakout, a pull back, a breakout. Now this last pullback gives you a lot of wick action, showing you buyers over here in this area. That's what I look for when I'm looking at these styles of trades. It's called the rule of 3. A lot of traders look at these. When I started really looking at these is when I was looking more at like line charts of flag patterns, and I'm still studying to do my CMT. So these are the types of things that I really look into. And the rule of 3 is so good. That's the only time I've ever been where I've come up with something that I'm like, I don't know if I want to give it away.
Yeah, no, fantastic stuff. And keep us updated on who's leading that race there and the cash that they're raking in, Mitch. So much appreciated.
The only way we know how to do it. Ready to go to those Blue Jay game too. You guys heard me.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a winning type of day. Let's keep it going.
So you're rooting for the Blue Jays, right?
Oh, of course, man.
Okay,
got to, man.
All right.
I'm mad my man Bochette. Bochette is out. Right
yeah,
now,
I know. Bochette's out. He's got the hamstring. So yeah, let's see what we got going on. Hey, they need to tie it up. It's never good when the opposing team takes that first game, especially away, not necessarily the home team there. So a little bit of a tougher look. But guys, here it goes. We're starting to head a little bit south now on the TQs trade. This is the support level we were referring to earlier, and you can see the momentum really start to pick up. Look at the weakness in the tape as you had those bids starting to slam, and there it is, bang, bang, bang. We're going to hold this all the way to target. That's going to be 102.50, so let's see if we can continue to rock and roll full-size diamond hands this one. If it's working, Obie, today, I think we have to allow it to. And what I was referring to yesterday is the fact that, or sorry, not yesterday, as for Friday, I don't think that sellers are just going to absolutely disappear just like that. No. So I think you had to be patient enough to wait for some solid opportunities. And sure enough, there it is, as we're right at the neckline on the TQ. Should I take a little bit to make it look pretty? No, I'm going to try to go for that full risk and wait for that 102.50. At that point, we will take 75% off there.
Nice. Great trade, man. I'm glad that's working out. And what a snipe off of the highs there. False break of those prior highs, prior structure. And as soon as that uptrend breaks, absolutely solid entry there. So good stuff. I'm kind of waiting. I'm watching this BBAI as well right now. That arm is continuing to hold that trend and continues to push up. But kind of going back to what Mitch was talking about, I love the top-down approach that he's talking about. I kind of that relates to me as well. But I don't necessarily look at like in terms of like from a sector top-down approach, but in terms of like time frame, I'm definitely doing a top-down approach, looking at stuff from all the way from like multi-month charts all the way down to like minute charts as well.
Yeah, you like the monthly charts.
Yeah, I'd love the monthly charts because I want to again, similar concept, right? You want all different kinds of players, all different kinds of participants, all coming together at a given point, and maybe at that point you'll find that price action can get a little bit interesting, can get a little bit explosive or directional as well. So that's kind of what I like to look for, and the distinct difference as well. Which one of these is not like the other in the sector, right? Yeah. We kind of talked about the quantum sector today, and there are a few names that are distinctly different. Some of them are not as strong. Some of them are just blasting to the upside. right? Similar with the nuclear reactors. Not all of them are looking the same. Some of them are very, very strong. So that distinct difference can definitely give you opportunity as well. So yeah, I definitely like the conversations that we're having here.
Absolutely.
But let's have some conversations in the chat, man. What are you guys trading? Where are your guys' eyes looking at right now? Because I'm not really seeing anything too much. Yeah, I know BBAI is going. A lot of people talking about BBAI in the chat, but look at that. I'm not really chasing any of these prices to the highs right there. Yes, it is going. A lot of people are talking about this. There's a lot of buzz, and it seems like just holding that structure and continuing to push higher. So let's do a quick check of some of these volume gainers, and yeah, of course, BBAI is going to be top of the list there. How much volume has this thing done? 170 million almost. All right. ELBM didn't really participate in that. Plug Power, I guess, you know, this one kind of moving around as well. Okay, so last week this was in the news, I think, or kind of had some sort of relative volume for some reason, and just trading within its range from last week. Nothing too crazy. GWH, we've been talking about this one as well. A little bit of a breather all the way back down from 13s to $10, but you can see still holding this general trend that we've been making for the past couple of days here. This is Power Hour, oh boy, and let's see what some things are doing here. Tesla's pulling back here, so reversion on Tesla might be the one as it pulls back in, and again, we know Joe's in the short. The market's definitely pulling back in as well, so some confluence on that one. Relative strength there on Google, man. I'm watching that Google pretty closely as well. I know I said I would probably get long this one in the personal if I had one stock to kind of participate in. But funny enough, as much as I you know, talk smack about Apple and their products, yeah, that's one of my biggest holdings in the
long term.
Yeah.
All right, well, rightfully so. You can talk smack about it.
No, for sure. It's just like I might not like what they do, but like I can't deny the market. I can't deny the market.
Exactly.
I have to listen to what the market tells me.
What is it?
Everybody and their mother has an iPhone. You know what I mean? It's just everyone has one.
Except for you.
I mean, I don't have one, but my mom does have one. So, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. No, so it's a cult following, right?
It is.
And it's over time you start to realize that some of the best longs and some of the best swings and some of the best ideas hold because people are positioning into them. They have strong sentiment, and yeah, it's something to watch out for. And Apple definitely is very, very strong in those. But that same kind of price action you can say for something like a Quantum. Maybe they don't make the money, they don't have the fundamentals.
Yeah, they don't got it.
But they still have people positioning in. They have people. It's a cult-like following. That's why the price action is like that.
Nice.
Right? It's just like it's very interesting to watch. But yeah, Apple, one of the strongest cults for sure. That's why I definitely want to have Apple in my portfolio for that. But
for sure.
Yeah, of course.
For me,
I had a little bit of a scare at the beginning of the year. I'm like, oh boy, this is coming in real close. But
yeah.
After
years,
and I didn't. No, not after years of holding. Just after a couple years of holding.
Okay.
But
years.
yeah, no, that thing is what are we trading at right now? 200 somethings on Apple, 250.
Yeah.
250.
Are you? Let me ask you this question: are you buying anything up here?
I actually recently bought something, but it's not related to anything. I'm not going to say.
You're not going to disclose that? Fair enough. All right.
You saw what my last swing was. I mean, since I joined the floor, I've only talked about 2 stocks for swinging.
Which were?
And those have been absolute bangers. Again, not
what were your 2?
I've talked about one of them, so I can on the show. So I'm down to talk about that one.
Okay.
And that's Bombardier.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So have you seen what Bombardier's been doing? Let's go straight up to a weekly chart. So in terms of swings, I'm very similar to that kind of concept of my day trading. Quality over quantity. I bought this in 2022.
All right.
Or 2021, something like that. In and around here. Right? And this is what this stock is doing. This is now Bombardier, Canadian classic. You know, the government's not going to let this one fail, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And this one was beat down. I mean, it was beat down. This was a sub $5 stock.
Yeah.
They had a forward split. I think they had a 25 to 1. Yeah, there you go.
Did they actually have
25? A forward split.
Damn.
Right? boom, 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 and that was a swing. I took some off in the 160s. I'm still holding about 70% of it here as a 200, but absolutely crazy, right? So it's stuff like this that I like to swing. I only need a couple of these in my life. I only need a couple of these in my life.
It's
a
true.
Few of them. Maybe a couple is a little too less.
Well, I mean,
but I only need a few of these, and it took 4 years to pan out. I didn't know it was going to do this.
Yeah.
Dude, I started looking at I started getting alerts in my portfolio when it started going parabolic from 120 to 140s. I was like, oh boy. You know what the TSX is doing. Canadian stock market is absolutely running.
nuts.
Look at the TSX.
It's nuts.
Like, forget about Bombardier. Sure, that's a crazy parabolic move, and maybe we're getting some government deals. I don't know, but the bid is definitely there. The sentiment is there. Our banks are strong. Our our resource stocks are strong. But look at the composite. Right here, all-time high.
What the
strong push.
hell?
That's the TSX.
Yeah, I know. It's
right?
insane.
And look at some of our banks. Look at TD. Look at RY. Right.
TD has never been.
Look at TD.
Is that TD?
This is TD on the weekly.
No way.
Look at RY. Like, what do you like? You know what I mean? This is stuff that we use.
Go pull up
like
TD on the
I
monthly.
use RY. Look at TD on the monthly.
On the monthly. I want to see.
So you want to see it on 1 month or 3 month?
3 months. Longer duration.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like 3 month. Look at this consolidation breakout.
What the day?
Look at the breakout.
I don't remember.
Right? Look at the breakout. If I didn't show you the time frame, like, are you taking this breakout? That's a breakout. That's a consolidation, failure to follow through, level hold, and then a breakout of 90, and now we're trading at 109. Right? So it's always good to watch higher time frames when a lot of things start to confluence. Right? And a lot of players start to look at the similar things. It's absolutely crazy. Yes, Hangry Wife saying Obie is excited. Yeah, I get a little excited sometimes because it's not because like of the trade is working, but take a look at that price action. Man, it's so beautiful the way it told you it's building.
Bang.
It basically spoke to you. The question is, were you actually listening?
Ooh.
Right? That's a question I always ask myself. So, Los Pollos Serrano say, Obie should have bought NVIDIA 4 years ago. Yeah, exactly. That was a better trade for sure.
Yeah,
that was a better trade for sure.
You could do that all day.
Right?
You can literally go around
you
that bush all day.
You could have bought the S&P, you could have bought this, that, and the other. It doesn't matter. This is what I had, and that's what worked, right? That's what I believed in. I had one other stock.
All day I could do that.
I like to go with I think Buffett used to say this. So diversification is great if you don't know what you're doing.
Is that what he actually said?
I mean, in a sense, it's like diversification doesn't make sense for a player that knows what they're doing.
That's a little bit of a spiel that I was putting on not too long ago, and I didn't know if
why would you diversify if you're confident in your abilities and you're confident in your trades? It doesn't make any sense, right?
No.
If you have the ability to, and if you have the stats and the systems to kind of get into those undervalued stocks, and you have something that works, why? Doesn't make sense. Why would I diversify? Because I'm unsure?
Yeah.
Because I'm scared of risk? Because I want to hedge?
Come on, dude. There's a valid point.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that really makes sense. Diversification, I think it's great if you don't have, like, for example, my sister literally messaged me. Funny enough, I'm so proud of her. Friday, she's like, hey, I bought some. I bought some SPY and Qs. I was like, absolutely beautiful. I'm like, get ready to buy some more lower. Right? I'm like, if it goes lower, it's funny. I think it was was it Peter Thiel or I remember, I forget.
Peter Lynch?
Yes. Okay. So Peter Lynch has this thing on market cycles. It's funny. Darren knows that because we were talking about this with Jose in the back just last week. He's like, the market pulls back sometimes.
Yeah.
The market pulls back. Sometimes it pulls back 10%. Sometimes it pulls back
a little bit
15%. Sometimes it pulls back 25%. You have to know over time that if you're invested in stocks, the market will pull back. And you have to be okay with that, right? And it's over time, it's almost periodic. Every 5 to 10 years, every 6 years, every 15 years, we have one of these pullbacks.
Yep.
So the question becomes, are you going to be the one who's panic selling during those sell-offs? Or are you going to be the one being like, oh, things are on sale, so I want to buy?
Exactly.
Right? Like, if you look at higher time frame charts, like, dude, like, stocks only go up. The S&P 500 is almost rigged to do well. It literally takes in the best performers and kicks out the worst performers.
Yeah.
And if you look at the M2 curve, the money supply curve, if you print more money,
it's only going to go up. It's only going to go up at the end of the day.
You know what I mean? People talk about, inflationary pressures are not necessarily here. I said this last week. I don't know what you're talking about, but it cost me more dollars to buy my same stocks.
Well, they also go up as well too, so that could explain a little bit more there. I mean, if the price is going to appreciate, then sure enough, it's going to cost a little bit more. But I agree with what you have to say as for the diversification. As for inflation, I think that's more based on goods, right, and services.
There's a lot more other factors, but I'm just making a point there.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. So for me personally, my greatest, I guess, investment of all time was the marijuana stocks. And that was there was no diversification there. It was just all in on those. But yeah, if you have the conviction behind it, I have some good friends that have made quite a bit of money with just holding one names and conviction and holding on to them. I like the fact that you brought up the multi-years that it took to get that. Things aren't going to happen overnight. So that's what I was talking a little bit about Bitcoin and stuff too. It all depends on your risk. But these halving cycles are almost they have a high probability that you're going to see an appreciation within the actual underlying asset itself. Is it guaranteed? Absolutely not. But if you go back from previous data and previous halving cycles, look what's happened. And that's just kind of where my mentality lays. And this is what I was talking about there, guys. Let's get back into these markets and see what we got going on. I don't have the bang, which is unfortunate, but there it is. We did take some off where we were telling at 102.80, just south of that support level, just in case we got that bounce. And sure enough, we did. Is this going to be a reload opportunity? Possibly. Let's be patient. Google was on an absolute grinder today. So congratulations to that name. We did take an attempt on the longs, and we didn't have the ability to stick through it. It didn't sell off as aggressively as some of the other names did on Friday, and now we're starting to see a solid recovery. But Obie, tell us what you got.
All right, guys. So in Africa, a new generation of leaders is rising. The woman boss empowers them. Provide training and mentorship to the women and girls that need to start businesses, create change, and build sustainable futures. We've already impacted over 10,000 lives. Your contribution creates the next opportunity. Scan the QR code now and empower the next woman leader today. What's going on, Mitch? Let us know.
What's going on, guys? I'm looking at a trade here, USAR, right? Keeping an eye on this name. We've been watching this name for a long time. So one of the things you can clearly see here is kind of the structure getting built. And this is the pattern that I've been telling everybody about, that liquidity, right? So you can see how this sets up really well here. But right here, there's this little wash before the green comes in, right? And this is what I've been talking about to traders, right? Well, if you set your stop right there at this support right there, well, you got washed on that move right there to the 39. And now it's right back up through the 40. Let's see if it can start to climb through this 40, 50 spot. That's really where I could start seeing some bigger strength come into this. But these are the exact patterns that I've been looking at more and more. This slight little undercut here, those liquidity moves can really help you start gaining some nice quick green, right? You see it right after that. The buying comes right in. Now you just look on the tape to start seeing if you're seeing more of that offer versus what it was doing in that pullback, a lot of bid action.
Action, yeah, good look out there, Mitch, as always. Yeah, just let us know, brother, if you have anything that you're keeping your eye out on, or you're in any position, just tune in without any question, and we'll get you involved in the conversations for sure. But yeah, a lot of people are saying AMD potential bottom. I don't love the long right now, considering that we just have that steady downtrend. Is this going to be a reload opportunity on the TQs? Possibly. Let's wait until we come up to 103.30. Glad we took a little piece off there, so now we're at a break-even stop. But this candle, yes, the volume is starting to kick in, but there is a little bit of selling pressure still within these 5-minute prints there, guys. So keep an eye out on that one. If more of this wick does get complete and filled, then just wait for it to kind of maybe sell a little bit more, cool off, and then the turnaround. See, the thing is, we can't always expect a V-shaped reversal. That's just not the reality of the market. Things take a while to turn around, so you might get that in AMD. Google's still climbing higher, NVDA south of the volume weighted average price, Apple heading back into VWAP as well. So we never got that pop up here. We'll still be a little bit patient. If we do get that move into this support level, which was support level was now can act as possible resistance, then we'll add into that position and look for the primary target of the volume weighted average price. I would not be surprised by the end of the day if we fall into that area, and that's exactly what I'm looking for right now, Obie.
Nice.
Excuse me. Let's take a look at the SPYs options activity to see if there's anything that catches our eye. There's going to be a lot of volume stepping in. We'll always have hundreds of thousands of contracts but we want to see around 500,000 if we are going to get that type of volume. So you can see the concentration through 161 all the way to 666. Okay, 666. We don't necessarily like that one there. But yeah, there it is. The most volume, and OI is at that 663, not OI, sorry, just volume there. So a lot of these contracts are starting to be closed, to get to your point there, Jag. So, refresh them. So I'm out of the chat now. So hopefully that answered your question a little bit. Here comes the TQs. I'm not going to chase the reload right here, but we have the ability to hold it from 50s all the way down to 102.81 when we decided to piece a little bit out, still holding on to 90% of the position, and we're going to continue to do so until we hit that primary target. That is VWAP. Now, as for our scanners as well, too, guys, SQQs, choppy, RGTI, these quantum names have been absolutely insane. Let's take a look at it from a daily perspective, and bang, you're just blowing. Oh my days, this stuff is insane. This is insane. From September earlier in the month, literally just over a month from today, we'll try to see if we can find it. We'll go to the 12th. 240%. This quantum space is just going absolute parabolic. There's no questioning that. QUBT, a little bit more subdued, hasn't been participating like its peers. IonQ, I'm going to bring in Mitch here because he loves talking about leaders to laggards. I want to get his opinion on why necessarily we have the likes of QBTS continuing to climb, Rigetti continuing to climb, QuantumScape punching through some levels. Why is in QUBT participating, and could we see a possible rotation into some of these laggards here, Mitch?
Yeah, I think you definitely have to look for it. Like a recent one that just started going is QMCO, that was like left in the dead, right, for a little while. This is just like also algos trying to pick up, right? They're trying to pick up the theme. That's why I do it, right? And really the leader, IonQ, is what really got this party started. I think that's the name that you got to continue watching. And that's the name that's going to continue leading up. It actually has something underneath the belt. I've talked to Niccolo De Masi when he actually first brought this company through SPAC, right? This is a SPAC, right? Not all of them lost. This one's a really good one. IonQ, it's continuing, and it's about to almost break the daily high. Actually, I think you're through that high already. So this is the name that just keeps the party going. Leaders to laggard, right? That's why I look at IonQ and what followed, Rigetti, and then you got different ones that have different gas pedal, right? And that's what you want to be finding. What's one that's smaller but has that gas pedal? You see how these all went. If you look at the chart, it's right after IonQ. So the tip also is that you don't got to catch the leader. Look for that laggard style play. You might just catch a winner.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's one thing that I kind of want to lead to as well here, Mitch. So we noticed that we have the IonQs, the RGTIs, they're leading the space right now. We can go across the board and there's a lot of them climbing higher. But what happens, and I'm curious on your opinion, so what happens to the laggard that if the leaders start to continuously sell off and you experience that 15, that 20% pullback, what can you see in that laggard? Do you think that they have the ability to play catch up, or do they get hit equally as bad as some of the leaders were before?
Yeah, you want to see the leader kind of continuing on, right? Even when the pullback. A perfect example is Bloom Energy and FLNC. So Bloom Energy kept going higher and higher, and I was using it as an indicator to stay in FLNC. FLNC was on a pullback flag pattern. Why? The more speculative name, not as good on the fundamental side, doesn't have the diversification that Bloom Energy has. So watching that name continuing to tick higher was the way to maybe play some of that lag. Another thing to do is when the leader takes that big fall, right, that's the day that you really need to take a look at the smaller one. If it doesn't fall, there's a reason why, right? As simple as that. And I think that that's what you need to be looking for, right? They're going to tell you there's going to be a leader takedown, right? And with that, you can also look for short opportunities this week. At some point, this euphoria is going to break, right? And these stocks are going to be extended on the upside. So I don't got to catch IonQ, but I can definitely catch the others after IonQ breaks.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Fantastic stuff there, brother. Good as always. As always. I mean, we're still short the overall market here, Mitch. We're starting to pull back a little bit here. I got to keep my eye on some of these bigger names and what they're up to. I know OKLO has been on an absolute monster tear. Google's still grinding around those highs. Amazon, see, this is my next trade, but I believe that there's some weight on its shoulders just due to the tariff issues with China. But watch out, anything south of 215 and even 210. If we can get into Amazon south of 210, I'm going to be an absolute buyer of this name. AWS is a monster and continuing on its growth cycle. Same with some of these cloud providers as well too. So once those numbers get in, if we can get in a good price before then, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some topside movement. I was, man, oh man, like you have these names 150 back in October. You had, where was Amazon trading at $100 again? And it's like, you just have to pick up some of these names, especially when you got so much cash on hand. Obviously, there's a little bit of a margin issue with the China products and everything along those lines, but you have to be, I don't know if it's to say, swaying from the e-commerce aspect of Amazon because that's still an absolute giant and dominating the space, but you have to look at the emerging sectors within it, and that's Amazon Web Services, and I'm going to expect that space to continue to grow, and that's why I really want to get involved in Amazon. Why? Because a lot of these Mag 7s, with the exception of Tesla, a lot of them have put in new all-time highs, and we have yet to do so in Amazon, still down roughly 10% from that previous high. So that's why I want to be a buyer of this name. We can go through a couple of the mags. That's Apple. Same thing, but it got significantly closer from that peak, only 1% before it decided to sell off. Sharif and I were talking about this consolidation, and we thought that we would continue to the top side here. Not necessarily the case. You have this liquidity grab of the aggressive selling, a lot of the heavier reliant Chinese companies that are reliant on China selling more aggressively, and that's why I think we've seen in the likes of Apple and in Amazon some aggressive selling, but I like this. Obie brought us to this, told us this earlier in the day and mentioned it, is that I think coming with experience that it's like, okay, you don't necessarily panic, even though you can get out of positions, that doesn't mean panic, but now you're sitting on some cash and it's gonna allow you to buy in at some lower prices. So that's exactly what I'm looking for, especially with these hyperscalers. You give me a lower price, I'm getting involved, Obie. Is that, no way. Oh, I thought that was the intraday standpoint.
Yeah, we can just, we'll go back to that chart in a second. We'll be right back from Madeira.
Mind you guys, we're getting bank earnings. What if you're looking for more info on bank earnings? Check out XTTV Research because I have a whole bunch for you. This infographic was actually posted over the weekend. So what it does here is it shows the EPS estimate and revenue estimate for 6 of the major banks reporting. So these first 4, JP Morgan all the way to Goldman Sachs, they report tomorrow morning. The last 2, Goldman Sachs and Bank of America, they're going to be reporting on Wednesday morning. Either way, this is all available in one handy infographic on XTTV Research. But the banks aren't the only thing reporting tomorrow morning. With that in mind, here is a very detailed look at 9 of the biggest names set to report tomorrow morning. You've got Ericsson, BlackRock, Domino's Pizza, Johnson & Johnson, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, Albertsons, and Citigroup. Again, XTTV Research. I just dropped this post, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Always Test in the chat saying thanks for the lead on that QBTX play. I smoked that. Yeah, no, congrats. I didn't even know QBTX was a thing, man. And sometimes that's what happens. You find some stocks or some ETFs by mistake, and you're like, oh boy, this thing is it's more than valid. And sad Peb in the chat saying, Obie, your long would be green now. And I think you're talking about Tesla, because I do have eyes on Tesla. And yeah, Tesla's back above 435s. But here's the thing, man. Sure, long would have been green right now, but that wasn't the trade I was looking for at the moment, right? So it is what it is. There's a lot of trades that I'll miss, and you'll hear Neil say this often, and I take this advice from him, and I'm getting better at taking it as well. You have to be able to miss the trade to take the trade, and he quotes that quote that a prior trader that used to come on the floor, a legendary trader, used to kind of say that to him as well, and I'm trying to kind of manifest some of that into my trading. But the chart I was looking at, and Joe was like, oh boy, was the 3 month. We're talking about overextensions, and I'm looking at the 3 month chart here on Palantir, right? 3-month chart has not looked back since this 43 break, right? And that happened earlier this year. Absolutely crazy push on a higher time frame on this one. Like, is there any strong reason to sell on this chart? I don't know. We hit a flat 190 high there, and it seems like we're poised for a little bit more. And I was just like, we can just use a simple definition of like, look, since the beginning of this bid, where that volume steps in, this is a higher time frame chart. The prior bar low has not broken. So if we were to define trend in one way or another, you can see that it's definitely overextended. So it's going to lag, like it's overextended from moving averages or what have you. Those are going to be lagging behind significantly. So just using a prior bar low might be an interesting option as well. You can see it has not violated that since April of 2023. So the question becomes, everyone's like, oh, where's the top on Palantir? Well, this might be a good definition of trend to finally be like, all right, I don't have to clip the top. I don't have to catch the top. But where is the real sign of sellers kind of coming in? And that's why I was like, okay. So Palantir, absolutely beautiful there. So I found that quote. I didn't want to butcher it anymore, but so the Warren Buffett quote that I was saying.
Yeah.
So the quote specifically is, he famously said that diversification is a protection against ignorance. It makes little sense if you know what you're doing, right? And we found that out. That's come to be true in today's market.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
If you were like, oh, AI sentiment is absolutely wild, and a lot of people are positioning into some of these names, you didn't really have to diversify a lot. Right? If you picked a couple of strong names, why would you want to buy other names, right? But if that was your case, we recently saw a post about a trader who was a school professor. Yeah. And in 3 months, he had a sub $1 million account. Yeah. In 3 months, this guy bet heavy, hard and heavy, because he had the conviction on all of the mineral and the rare earth plays as well. Yeah. This guy his account goes from sub million to 20 million in 3 months. That's nice. That's conviction. Why do you need to diversify in anything else? Yeah. Yeah. If you know what you're doing. And it's like, it just goes through. It's like, if you look around and you look at certain market participants, you know that to be a fact. And you know, if Buffett's saying it, it might hold some sort of value, right? So anyways, that's a bit of a,
Would you classify, so if I were to just go, say I were to allocate all my capital into SPY, would you classify that as diversification?
Just all capital to SPY?
Just SPY.
I think it's a diversified product.
Yeah, there you go. Right? Perfect answer. That's very, very well said. All right, guys. So this is it, TQs. Obie, we get that move all the way down, but we just couldn't get to VWAP. So we're not going to allow a winning trade to turn into a loser. So that's why we just get out at that break even. I took only 20% off right here and was leaving the rest, and now starting to come back in. So a little bit of a squeeze, PA. There is some indecision prints around these highs, but there it is. You bounce right up at some key support levels, and then you head right back towards that high of the day, and now you're starting to come back in a little bit more again. So that's exactly what happened there. Now, as for, okay, cool. So yeah, sorry, I'm not tapped in. Mitch, what do you got for us, brother?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the conversation you were talking about, concentration and names and diversification and that kind of game. I think it's very important, especially if you're a trader out there, you maybe do swing trading or something like that, right? One of the things that I really learned from is some of the best kind of swing traders and trend traders that trade higher, right? One of the things that you see is that what they preach a lot is to play less and play strong in the high conviction names, right? But the question is, how do I find high conviction names, right? Well, I always talk about having a combination of variables. There's 4 major variables, right? There's story, there's fundamentals, there's technicals, and then there's the overall market. When you can have all 4 variables playing into your stock, those are gonna give you higher conviction to go ahead and load the boat, right? You only wanna be loading the boat if all 4 agree, because it can happen where you have a good story, a good fundamentals, good technicals, but then the overall market's just coming down on you, right? And then you can't fight the market, right? You can't fight the trend. But when you have this type of market, like we do right now, euphoric market, there's looking for technical breakouts, right? We're all seeing these technical breakouts. Then you want to find a name that actually has decent fundamentals and has been left behind. And then now all you need is a story to get hot, right? That's what happened to the nuclear space. These stocks like SMR NE, no one was watching them for a long time. And then what happened? The story started to develop. Story develops, that leads into fundamentals, that leads to technical breakouts, and then all you need is a euphoric market.
There, Mitch.
Some fuel for the fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely solid. Yeah, no,
That's what we're looking for. That's what we're always looking for. And you need to ask yourself, what is the market doing with my play right now, right? Is it the time for euphoria, right? Is it time for continued illogical style move, right? It's not about logic and illogic, guys. It's about catching and making money, right? And if you fight that and you try to say, oh no, but this stock can't go higher. We all know how those stocks usually do. They go higher.
They go higher. Yeah.
I mean, look at Tesla for an example. I think Tesla is by far a prime example of a stair-step squeeze. How many times over the past few years have you had like strong bearish sentiment on Tesla? They're like, oh, they don't even make money. They don't even, you know, they're P's, this, that, and the other. But here's the thing: it's another cult following. Yeah. The positioning is there. The technicals are there. Right, the fundamentals, yeah, they're definitely. I think they're definitely there, and you know, everyone can have different definition of what kind of fundamentals they think are strong for a longer time frame or a bigger picture. Like, you know, you want to maybe find things that are somewhat undervalued as well. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with Mitch there. You have to have a confluence of factors, and when you tick all of those boxes for your list, those are going to give you some of the best opportunities. And if you're missing one or two, it's nowhere near how close it could potentially be. Odyssey Fights in the chat saying bought 200 shares of QBTS earlier this year, up over 70K. Wish I had bought more and not been more diverse. Would have been up 400K if I had the conviction in it.
Hey, man. I hear a lot of wish in that. Yeah. You did great, man. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Exactly.
Right? I always say that, you know, sometimes you're not going to get the meat of the move either. Yeah. But the truth is, it's about trading well. Right? You got to give yourself the pat on the back. We fight ourselves too much as traders sometimes. And one of the things I think is very important is giving yourself positive reinforcement when you actually do something well.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's absolutely solid. Have you read the book The Gap and the Gain?
No, I got to check that one out.
It kind of covers that concept. So it's a short book, absolutely game-changing for sure, in terms of like really adapting that mental of being like, okay, we always talk about, you know, like, oh, this is, I need to work better on this. I need to do this. I'm not doing this well. I'm not doing that well. But comparing yourself to who you were maybe last week or last year or last month or whatever it is, and just giving yourself that encouragement and being like, look how far I've actually come.
Exactly.
Right? Using that as a sense of measurement as well. Otherwise, you can be like, oh, I've been trying to work on this for a whole year and it's not really giving me any sort of results. But that's just looking at the negative. I really like that point. You have to be able to find the silver lining, pat yourself on the back for the stuff that you have been improving on, so that you encourage yourself to improve even more. And that's a growth thing, right? That has nothing to do with trading. I mean, but it has everything to do with life.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you've been in this game for some time, everybody has those stocks where it's like, if I just had a little bit more, the story would be completely different. We can talk about that until we're blue in the face. Yeah. But unfortunately, that's not the reality of trading. You put on what you put on, and if you had more conviction, you would have put on a little bit more. And I think that's a massive lesson for traders to learn. We talk about the conviction, and if you have the higher probability in your favor, then just put on the size. Yeah. Don't go with that what-if history. Just do it, and if it works out, then congratulations, you put on that monster trade and you can talk about it after. But I'm pretty sure everyone in this room can say, oh, imagine if I just went in all on this name.
And this is perfect talk, because I think one of the most important things, and we talk about limited risk often at Trade the Pool, is everyone can usually, when they get into trading for like a year or two, it takes a little bit, but they get to the point where they're good at risk management. But there's very few that can actually know how to put risk on. This is the thing that's going to separate you in the day trading business, right? It's not necessarily about taking those quick stop outs. It's how do I know when to actually size up and hit the gas pedal?
Exactly.
Because that's when you're going to make that big equity move, right? What we're trying to do is essentially ride the equity curve, take very small downturns. And how do you do that? You hit the brake pedal when things are not working, right?
Absolutely.
But then when it starts to work, hit the gas pedal to get that equity curve right back through that. That's how you start to really gain on a linear fashion on your equity curve.
Absolutely. Once you start exponentially bet sizing, and it takes time, right? It's a trial and error process. You're going to go heavy on a couple attempts, and it's not going to go in your favor. But once you understand why and everything, you break it down, where did I go wrong? You correct that, and then sure enough, when you see that opportunity arise once again, that gives you ability to really put on that side.
Yeah, and I can tell you as a trader that was trading before Trade the Pool existed and took a lot of hits like that, right? Painful hits, you know, your life savings kind of hits. That's what we're trying to avoid. That's why Trade the Pool was made in the first place. It's to get you the ability to trade often and take these kind of shots. Then you'll learn when do I know what's an A+ setup or a C setup, right? Distinguishing the setups and having conviction is really how the top traders are making it. They're not just trading everything underneath the sun, right? They're looking, they're making plans and making sure that the day's action actually commits to that plan, right? And I think that's the hardest thing that a lot of traders do. They get a nice little pre-market setup, then the market opens and they don't ask themselves, what is actually happening today?
Yeah, no, yeah, fantastic stuff. And I think it's really important. It's a skill that takes quite some time to kind of hone in and perfect. But once you do, you know. So guys, I talk about this all the time. It's like, okay, yeah, I love trading contracts, I love trading options, but not every scenario requires options contracts or options trading. I talk about the hybrid system. You go from a share standpoint, and then when the thesis starts working out is when you can really start to leverage your system and that specific trade. So that's what I talk about all the time, is that I like a starter, I like to get my feet wet with some shares, and then once the thesis is panning out, then it gives us the ability to use these leverage derivatives and really make that trade as large as we possibly can. And we talk about this. I think being selective is really important. You don't want to be in everything from a swing trading standpoint. I like certain things, but I want to stick with names that are repeat offenders in the direction that I'm looking for. And then I also want to have the ability to just put on that side, as I mentioned before. And I don't trade that many that often, but I have no issue with sitting in a swing trade for a couple of weeks or a month. At that point, and I mean, but not sitting stagnant and going negative, but it working and to see if it's going to continue to work. But at some point, you have to come to the realization is like, hey, this might be the top, and this is all that the trade is going to provide me. And that's exactly what happened with the IBIT position, with my Ethereum position after the Genius Act. Is like, okay, the market isn't going to provide me anymore. Don't be greedy and take that position off and wait and be patient for that next opportunity. All right, so that's what I look for. You don't always have to be, whether it be day trading or swing trading, you don't need to be in something all the time. Be more selective. Find those higher quality setups, and with that, you're going to have the higher probability in your favor, and I think that's an extremely important thing to understand, all right? So yeah, stopped out break even on the TQs. Everything else seems a little bit quiet now, Obie. Google putting in a new high of the day. Who does it think it is on today's session? So now engulfing Fridays, we've blown past that top there, Obie. I did not think that was going to be in the works today.
It was building
What did
up
we
for
say
it,
on Friday evening? We said if we go north of this, this is going to be insane. So that shows you that there is almost no fear in this market. Speaking of fear, let's take a look at the VIX and see what that's up to. That
was above 20 this morning, or it was above 20.
It was like 22 at some point.
Yeah.
All right, let's get that ad done, and then we're gonna pull up the VIX here.
All right, guys, traders, listen up. First month free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, and capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips. It's an all-in-one platform, so don't miss out and execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. All right, man. Yeah, no, I think you bring up some great points there. Yeah, the VIX was 20 this morning. 22 on Friday. Absolutely crazy. And I got all my alerts, and I'm like, all right, it's game time, right? VIX above 20. I love that environment. It's solid. We've been seeing the signs of potential selling. Even a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you remember, I was like, yo, the VIX is starting to wind up.
Yeah.
Starting to step up, starting to wind up. You know, it's interesting how even volatility starts to kind of, you know, give you signs of building up, and then all of a sudden, boom! All it takes is one sort of event. But yeah, no, man, you gotta be thankful. You gotta be grateful. And yeah, you know what? Going back to the comment of, like, you know, maybe you would have been up 400K. Hey, man, like Mitch said, you didn't catch. It's okay. You didn't catch the meat of the move, but at least you took a bite. Right, at least you took a bite, and that's what matters. And you got to think about, sure, maybe you have some regrets, but no regrets. Right? What can you do better next time? How are you gonna? You were able to identify the trade, right? You were able to identify it. You had conviction. You said to start off with. So how do you stick with it, right? I think that's definitely a big part of the puzzle there as well. But yeah, let me know going into the end of the day here. Not really seeing too much. We got only about 22 minutes left. Joe, so yeah, closing imbalances, maybe something here. Yeah, Google's the strongest here, pushing up even higher, 243.95s, and yeah, that is something that I said last week. I was like, if we break these highs, that could poise us for an interesting level of maybe price action here. But we'll see. That 25,000 that we've been knocking on the Nasdaq didn't really come in today, so things might be just relatively strong there. And funny enough, I was like, oh, if you want to pick one stock, which one would you own out of all of them? Yeah. I didn't even look at Google's chart. I was just like, yeah, just Google. And it's like it has so much relative strength on the.
Regardless of the chart,
what they're a part of, what they do. And I think it just goes for itself. It speaks for itself, where you can be like, yeah, these guys are going to be around for a while, right? These guys are going to be around for a while.
They ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, they've got their hands and feet in a lot of different things. And Amazon's a similar one. Amazon's a very similar company as well. They do a lot of different things. They're into cloud. They're into retail. They're into whatever, a lot of different things. And they're one of the biggest I guess postal companies
Amazon
as well, right?
Yeah, exactly,
so
exactly.
It's just like there comes a time where it's just like, okay, these guys really have to mess up. They have to really mess up for.
They can just buy their way out of any issue, though. That's how much cash they have. At any
too big
point,
to fail?
They're too almost.
Is that a real thing? I don't know. But yeah, they fit the definition.
Okay, well, I mean, aside from the dot-com bubble, right? Yeah. Well, I wasn't trading then. You weren't trading during the dot-com bubble. Yeah,
but what were some of the market leaders? GE was a market leader.
Cisco was the most.
Cisco was huge. Yahoo
Cisco was the largest company in the thing. But again, I don't want to get into too much of what I don't exactly know. But what I do know is that they didn't have the cash that these current companies have.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's, for me, personally, it's like, okay, we've seen in the likes of Google with its antitrust, okay, yeah, that's gone. They're going to pay a fine. They have to share some of their data. Boom, the stock goes absolutely parabolic. Again, these guys have so much cash that it's hard for them to fail at the end of the day, in my opinion, and that's why I will always specifically stick with them, and I think that they're always going to continue to do it. Why? Because, you know what, Obie, you have a great idea. Here's 10 billion. How about your idea is now mine? What are you going to say? Oh, yeah, for sure. Where do I sign?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right? Okay, yeah, where do I sign? They can just buy whatever they want. We heard the talks of Apple teaming up with Anthropic or Perplexity, and it's like, okay, well, these guys are sitting at like $16 billion valuation. Well, Apple hasn't made an acquisition that large ever, except for Beats by Dre. But if they decided that they wanted to do it, sure enough, they can.
Yeah,
why? Because they have the cash.
They have the capital to do so, right? Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
that's a great point.
It's just the cash. They have the money on hand, right? So they're not going into the debt markets.
They're willing to spend it.
And they're willing to spend. I mean, Apple doesn't spend nearly as much, but they have the ability to benefit from this AI trade as much as anybody. Why? Because you have to pay them to. How is ChatGPT on their app? They have to pay them. How is Perplexity on the App Store? You have to pay them at the end of the day. So maybe not directly are they spending it, but they have ways that they can monetize it and make money from it. So.
I was just reading in the chat.
Yeah, I know. Hangry, I understand that, but there's nothing going on.
Like, okay, you made 20 trades in the last hour. That's great, man. I mean, solid. Good stuff. But you know what? Trades haven't set up for me. We talk about quality over quantity.
Yeah, and
we do our best to try to bring you real trading as much as possible. Don't forget the name. Alphabet continues to push a little bit higher here as of right now. So look at this one, man. This one could be something on imbalances. There you go. As I say that, there's my alarm for imbalances.
There it is.
8 minutes left.
8 minutes.
potentially. And we can let's just run through some of these stocks here and see what's doing what. Let me know in the chat if you guys see any sort of other outlier stuff here. So in terms of the Mag 7, yes, Google is the most is showing the most relative strength here. It's even, you can even consider it overextended to the upside as well, which is distinctly different. I'm just looking here from the rest of its peers, but there is one a little bit extended to the upside with about a similar magnitude, and that's Tesla. Tesla holding up its highs as well. That breakout of that opening, not really opening range, but the morning session range for 428s, 429s. That's holding up pretty nicely. 432 consolidation with this action as of right now. But I'm going to be waiting mainly for these imbalances now to see if a trade kind of falls into our lap. But absolutely crazy, man. This market has so much opportunity. We talked about Oklo in the morning, Oklo with that relative strength as well. And oh boy, look at that. Fresh highs in the middle of the day, 175.90. So we did push. Had relative strength on Friday, relative strength today, one of the stronger stocks in the market today. So definitely there is opportunity for the longs, there's opportunities for the short, and yeah, there's opportunities for ranges as well. If you love trading ranges, there's a lot of things that are just straight up stuck in a range and not really doing too much and kind of just knocking against those same kind of levels, right? A lot of people were talking about Intel as well this morning. ARM, we know we had eyes on ARM. ARM still continuing, man. ARM went to 175 cleans. That might have been nice. I think maybe if you're looking for a bit of a hold of level, maybe some sellers coming in going into the end of the day, 175 all the way down to 172s. But yeah, I took my eyes off because this wasn't doing what I was looking for. I kind of knew that coming into here, even though it looked like the setup. It checked a couple of boxes, but it didn't check all of them, so I didn't even pay it any sort of mind there. Where is the next trade was what I was asking, and you know what? The next trade doesn't have to be today. The next trade could be tomorrow. The next trade could be tonight.
Exactly. Ooh, speaking of,
we've been swimming.
You've been swimming.
We've been swimming.
And
there be sharks.
There's big time sharks over there. Let me know if you guys have been trading Blue Ocean as well too yesterday.
A million volume.
What did?
Midnight, both I think it was both Tesla and Nvidia and Intel was doing volume.
It's nice.
So like that kind of volume I haven't really seen. So it just really goes to show that there are participants.
Yeah.
There are more and more participants that are coming in, and I spoke on this last week. It's like that's just if you're a day trader, like, and they're like illiquid stuff is, you know, you can only do so much. But when the liquidity starts to come in, oh boy. You know, when the counterparties start to come in, oh boy. You know, you can start thinking about providing some liquidity or removing it as well. I really like removing it in certain scenarios. But the imbalances are coming in because, or soon enough, because I'm seeing this tape start to shake around a little bit. Maybe people positioning in for some of those numbers. About 5 minutes left for that to come in here. We got
hold on, sorry.
Millionaire with a super chat.
Yeah, cover that. And soon after that, Obie, hit me up after as soon as you're done that super chat.
Yeah, no worries. So okay, so this might be one for you, to be honest.
Ooh.
So small cap millionaire saying, guys, please advise. I'm in the quad U call, $16 strike, 11/21/25 calls. I'm up $900. When should I get out? I don't know. I think I'm going to leave that to Joey O. Again, don't forget, not financial advice, but if you didn't have a plan for your trade when you got in,
then you don't have a trade. It's that simple.
That simple.
And we're giving it to you harsh, right? Because we obviously care and we want people to extract as much money as possible from these markets because it's extremely difficult to do so. I'm short this market right now, thinking about taking a little bit. We had that nice move to the downside. This is the second attempt here, right? So we had this nice move, got stopped out 80%, and now we're looking for that another move a little bit heavier than before, so I don't have to give it as much room to run. So 103.20, we're gonna take some out there. Guys, please, I'm in the triple U call 6. Okay, we're gonna go over that. We had a different super chat. Or was that the super chat you just went over? Oh yeah, okay, it is. So sorry about that. So please advise, I'm in the quad U call, 16 strike. They expire November 21st. Call, I'm up $900. When should I get out? Again, we don't know how many of them you have, but we're never gonna be opposed to this, right? We always talk about taking profit and then leaving some for a runner. If you have 10 contracts, take 6 of them off, take 7 of them off, take 8 of them off if you're comfortable with, and leave a little bit of a runner so you still have some skin in the game and you're not sitting across your table being like, oh, it's ripping, I wish I had some more, or I wish I didn't take it all off. Instead of feeling that FOMO, just go and do it instead of contemplating and wishing that you did it. So yeah, shout out to you, $900. We'll take that all day, every day, especially in this market. So nice work, almost that 4-figure trade right there, my friend, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Shout out to those contracts. My guy Pathik said something insane. The others, whatever. Added 65 contracts of Google at 245 calls this week. Expiration will swing. Okay, so you're gonna roll some of those. I think what you mean by that. Let's take a look at Google. See, the issue is, and Mitch and I were talking about this earlier at our lunch. We're like, hey, there's a time for the contracts and there's a time for straight out shares. Now, I think expiring this week, the at-the-money IV is 34%, but what is that relative to? What is the at-the-money IV on Google actually trading at? And you have the 245ers. Okay, so you're at the money on that front. Not too bad. We like that. Let's see if we can exceed that. Google now trading at 243. Those are at the money. I'm not too sure of when you bought them necessarily, but we have broke through Friday's high, which is a positive signal. And obviously, I wish all the best. I hope you print up a massive storm. You've been crushing it as of late, Pathik. So nice look there, my friend. We're going to take a little bit off here on the TQs. Bang, as we're starting to sell lower, 20% right there, Obie, on that reload there. So Erie Pages, brief thoughts on how your bedtime routine to secure the sleep you need. This is an area of urgent attention for me in your life. Yeah. Oh, sleep. I'll tell you one thing. I am not a functioning human. As I got into my early in my 30s, I need that sleep. So I'm in bed 10:30, 11, lights out. There's no questioning regardless. The only time I'm up later usually is on the weekend or if I'm coming back late from hockey. But it's fall asleep immediately after I get back from the sleep is one of the most important factors in day trading. Why? Because when you're tired, you don't make rational decisions and you make mistakes significantly easier than if you're well rested and alert. I know Obie's big on the sleep as well.
Oh, for sure, dude. Track your sleep as well. You know, have something. You can't just be like, oh, I slept well. I slept. You need to have data. You need to have hard data to kind of fortify and support your theses. So if you're like, I've been getting good sleep, well, prove it. Get a tracker and look at it and see how your sleep quality is going. And since I've got this, my sleep quality has improved significantly. Now, of course, last night I said I stayed awake till 4, so no sleep. But I was trading, right? Give and take, and yeah, decision making off of the open, maybe not the best. I missed that low, right? But here's the thing. Still kind of maintain the mental, still understand and self-aware that you are kind of, on a lack of sleep.
Oh, is that the early? Yeah, we got the earlies.
Right
yeah,
here. No, it's imbalances now.
Okay, yeah, bring it to them there, Obie.
Right now, so let's see what's going on here on the Nasdaq. But yeah, sleep is absolutely important. Rigetti with a buy imbalance here, about 3.4 million. So RGTI, let's take a quick look at that one there, see what that one's up to. Okay, NVIDIA with a buy imbalance as well. What's that one doing? Nothing crazy, just 187 to 80s. But yeah, RGTI is pretty decently big with the 3.5 million shares, 3.75, it's growing, so 3.75 million shares to buy on RGTI here, so we can try to pull that one up, and maybe that is the next trade. But yeah, this is what I mean about sleep. Sleep is absolutely necessary, as sleep is going to be one of the main factors for your decision making, right? If you're in a groggy mood, it's not going to work. You're not going to be at your 100%. You have to remember that when you step up to the plate, when you sit down in front of your trading screen and you're getting ready to trade, understand what game you are playing. We said this before. Trading is a PvP game. There are people who are faster than you. There are people who are better than you. How can you get that one up on them? If you have a lack of sleep, maybe you know what? Maybe you were looking at a screen, like looking at screens going before bed. Look at the quality. This is what I mean. Track your quality of sleep. You start to understand the nuances of what things can actually affect sleep quality. Eating too much sugar before bed, right? Man. If you eat some sugar before bed, best believe like you're not going to be at 100%. Your body, and if you eat dinner too close to bed either.
Do you have the imbalances up there?
So I do have the imbalances.
Okay, yeah. Brandon, show the folks here the imbalances.
I'll keep these up.
Yeah,
so
keep that up there so we can
RGTI is
see.
here. We can pull up RGTI. That's what I was about to do here. RGTI, that's 54.30s right now. So yeah, rip city to the upside here on RGTI. Going to be patient and watch for this one there. But it seems like that thing is going as of right now. Sleep is a cousin of that saying Aurora Alpha, nice bars for sure. But no, strong emphasis on sleep. Understand who you're up against, and you want to give yourself the best chance and the best ability to perform. If you're not giving yourself that, you're cutting yourself short.
I just think consistency is key, whatever it may be. Everyone's routine is different. If you believe that you're a night owl and it works out for you, we'll continue to do so, and especially if it's working. Just be consistent in your everyday movement, regardless of what it is. And sure enough, you'll find consistency in this. But it takes a lot of time. If you're not hitting the gym, if you're half in the gym, you don't eat consistently, then sure enough, in your day-to-day operations in life are not going to be consistent, and you're like over here scratching your head, oh, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? Well, just got to be a little bit more consistent. But to each their own. Each individual is different. Each human being is different. And me personally, in order for me to say somewhat consistent, is that I need quality sleep, and that's as simple as it is. But Obie, the imbalance is not too bad. What's the highest we got there? We got Rigetti with 4.1 million to a buy side. Here comes the market roaring back up there, guys. We were short. We took another 20% off right there. So we're still holding this. We did get that wick down to 103, but it might come down to our break even right there. So we'll hold on to that. Only 7 minutes left here, guys. If you have any questions, let us know. You'll never find me in the gym, says Steve M. I understand not having emotional control if one is tired, but otherwise decision making is just setup. Yeah, but if you're, again, emotional control, you can be in it. What if you're, so Jag, let me put it to you this way. What if you have 6,000 shares of something on and you're tired and you're not emotionally stable because you're tired and you're grumpy, it's not working out as fast as you'd like, or it's not doing exactly what you like, you start making irrational decisions. Why? Because you're frustrated and you're not level-headed. Again, we can go back and forth about this all day, every day. At the end of the day, it's up to you. It's each individual, to each their own. Your body does what, you do what your body tells you to do. Hopefully it works out for you, and hopefully you find consistency within this overall market. There it is. We're out break even on the TQs, moving higher. The MAG across the border climbing. There goes IBIT up to 65.85. We haven't talked about this one much there, Obie. Was I thinking that we were going to see this continue, or this move to the top side in Bitcoin? No, but we're going to give it a little bit more time. Let's go to the higher time frames and see what we got going on. A slow curl over, aggressive selling in the situation on Friday session, all the way down to $61, and then bang, we're now back at 65. So if you had to grab that, if you had the ability to grab it off of these lows, you're up a couple points. But Obie, what do you got for us?
So guys, Trade the Pool, they're here with us today. Beat Ackman live trading competition is here. So from the October 8th to the 10th, every day, Ackman made his move. So your mission was to outperform him, beat his return, prove you've got what it takes. And then the grand finale, that's today, October 13th, broadcast right here on Trader TV with the Trade the Pool team live in the studio. So we got over 600,000 prizes that are up for grabs. 25K, 50K, 100K eval accounts, plus surprise giveaways during the live show. So don't just watch, compete, beat Ackman, and win big. Scan the QR code and start trading today. Oh boy, this RGTI is absolutely going crazy as of right now, but I think we're going to pass it to Mitch. What do you got going on for us?
What's going on, guys? I wanted to, of course, talk to you guys about the giveaway that we're doing right now. If you've seen a link in the description, go ahead and click that now. Don't miss out on your opportunity to join Trade the Pool and get one of those lucky eval winners. So, hey, we've had a great day trading here at Trade the TV studio. Of course, Michael Katz, CEO, trading also. That's what we're about. We're a group of traders getting after it. So how was your day, Michael?
It was okay. I mean, traded the competition account, of course, and luckily I did good. Some of the trades, we will talk about it later on in the recap. But, you know, Mitch, let's talk about Trade the Pool. We got this 2 minutes to talk about that. The change in the way traders behave and act in the market, right? Focusing on actually performance and skill and not about their capital.
Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, I always say, you know, a winning trader will probably make money, right? And that's what the important thing is. Learning how to win is very hard in trading, and the one way that you can do it with us and not give up your capital, right? Because that's what I think traders need to be doing more often, is working up the skill to where they want to go ahead and reach their goals.
Yeah, for sure. And it's about time and money, right? So you gotta, you know, you spend hours in trading and the education part, but at the end of the day, if you're trading your own capital, let's say 5K, 10K, you can only make a much, right?
Yeah.
In 1 month. But if you're trading $50,000 or $100,000, it makes more sense. Now you invest in your time and you actually perform better.
Yeah, I mean, and also the thing that matters also is that you got this limited downsize daily too, right? There's a daily cutoff also. So if you're having just a bad day, well, guess what? It's not the end all be all to the account. You'll still be alive and battling to battle one more day. This is where in another brokerage, what would they want to do? Of course, they'd want to sweep you and take all that money away from you. So, hey, don't be one of those traders caught with, you know, your pants down. You want to go ahead and be trading with risk mentality, right? That's one of the best things I think at Trade the Pool. Trust me, even I hit a daily loss limit sometimes.
Self included. And guys, we have a day trading platform or program, and you have the swing. So either way you go, you're good with that.
Yeah, you know I'm a funded swing trader also, so I'm on that side too. Got to have the mix, right? I always think it's a good thing to have a swing and a day trade account. There's days where I'm killing it in the swing account, and maybe the day trade, I can push it to the side.
Amazing. So go and check out the description below for the registration of the giveaway. And soon, after the recap, we will talk about the winners of the competition. We had 4 days of competition, beating Bill Ackman, and let's see who won.
Yeah, we'll see who made the most money today also. Coming up. Stay tuned.
Dang.
Yo, that's
there
exciting
it is.
stuff,
I know.
guys.
We're
Yeah,
going to see who
solid,
won
solid.
that one. Mitch, are
Who beat
you?
Ackman? Is it one of you? I'm curious.
Yeah, Mitch, did you poll at least in that or what?
Ackman was up about.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
But
So,
I just took a peek at the leaderboard. I'm blown away at what a guy
so you
made.
didn't
So just get ready. I mean, this is the type of things that you want to do, right? When you do these competitions, they're also a way to really test your skill level, right? How much money could you make if you had that type of money, right? There's only one way to find out, and that's to actually do it, right? And I think that that's the important thing. It also teaches you really quickly how you can start to play the sizing up game. And if you're able to make a really good return, it should show you that there's a way for you to either size down on the account and do the same thing, right? Just because you did it in $1 million account doesn't mean you can't do it in a $10,000 account or even a $1,000 account. The strategy should be similar. You just got to find the right way to size up.
absolutely, man. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, Victor, you gotta scan that QR code. I don't know if it's that one specifically, but yeah, go and check it out, guys. All right, 10 seconds left.
Boom,
fantastic.
Rigetti,
Thank you guys for participating with us. Nice Obie trade. Nice trade there, Obie. Bang. And there goes the market. It is officially closed. I think our market recap is going to be brought to you by the Trade the Pool folks. And I think, is Adara participating in that one? Absolutely, she says. So fantastic stuff. To all my fellow Canadians, I hope you've had a fantastic Thanksgiving and crushed as much food as you possibly can. Obviously, while watching us here at Trader TV Live. Obie, do you have any Thanksgiving plans?
Not right now. I think I got some potential car issues, but yeah, later tonight.
You
maybe.
have car issues?
Yeah, like today
Not with the brake, my wallet.
driving in.
The check engine?
No light. Just things started like rumbling. So I was like,
is that yours downstairs?
Yeah. I drove mine in today.
Oh man. So there goes the break my wallet. What do you think it is?
I mean, well, we know what these things do. Maybe it's a gasket
Oh
valve.
my God.
I'm hoping it's either mounting or sparks, because I can probably do that. Like if it's, I hope it's sparks, because I can just change those sparks. But we'll see. But no, Rigetti, absolutely crazy close there. We saw the imbalance grow from about 3 point something to about 4.5 there, and then actually flip to a sell. We got the move all the way from 54s to 55s there. You guys were standing there. You guys were like, oh boy, where's the next trade? Why aren't you participating? High probability conviction trades. You don't need a lot.
How many clicks you got on your beam?
You just need a few. I think it's pushing like 115.
Oh, that's when
it's around that time. I know it's around the time. I was just like, I put a lot of clicks on it, but yeah, for sure.
That's not too bad. 115, not too bad. So yeah, whenever let us know whenever they're just give it to me. Good to go in the ear. We'll continuously ramble on a little bit. I hope so. I hope everyone has a fantastic session. A little choppiness, price action.
Trader, yes.
I thought the volatility would have been kicking up, and I thought we would have seen some more potential down moves in the overall market, but that doesn't seem to be the case. This is what secular bull markets do. They just continuously grind higher. Any dip, 3%, 2.5%. Investors and traders are looking to buy it up. So there it is on today's session. Tomorrow's got a whole new day. We got Blue Ocean starting at 8 p.m. as well. Keep your eye out on that just in case we get some volume kicking in. And even you can be trading the post market. Obie, I know you're going to be on Blue Ocean come 8 o'clock, 8:30, whatever it may be, or you're usually punctual on that front. 7:45, he's there sharp, and I'm shooting Obie messages, hey, let's take a look at that. So that's what we got going on for this evening. Other than that, Asasina, we good or no? Asasina, you have no idea? All right, whatever. Just let me know in my ear when we're ready to go over there.
Sure, man. So
we're good? All right, cool. As for Sergio B, when am I going back to Texas? I have no idea, but when I am, I shall let you know. But guys, thank you very much. We're off to the recap. It's the Trade the Pool boys and Adara. Let's see what they got.
Thank you guys so much for sticking around with us here for the market recap show. I am, of course, Adara, and we have with us today Mitch and Michael from Trade the Pool. Now, they have a lot to cover for you guys, but first, we're going to go over here some of the headlines that maybe we forgot about that were moving the market today. Let's take a look here at the screen. You can find this infographic, as always, on X at TTV Research. Now, Meta, once again, poaching some AI talent. Now Mark Zuckerberg going over Mira Murati, formerly of OpenAI. They're going after her lab. Was Meta a stock that either of you guys were looking at today? We're going to find out about that in a second. But and also, Bitcoin was absolutely on watch here today, guys. We know there was that massive crash on Friday, and we talked about how a certain Bitcoin whale was able to benefit quite nicely from that in a short position. BTC, though, certainly attempting to bounce back along with a lot of other aspects of the market. Tesla pushing higher, especially later in the day as well, trying to form a bit of a base around that $420 level. And we had a couple price target increases, plus strong China sales. So there is some fundamental basis alongside the technical basis for TSLA to be strong today. Now, were you guys looking at any of these tickers, Meta, crypto, or Tesla today?
I mean, Tesla, you got to always look at it right now. Definitely on a big run, and it's been after that 400. I thought it'd look back at that 400, but it definitely hasn't, and it looks like it can keep running there. So I'm keeping watch on Tesla. I also caught that early Disney move today with some news, and I think maybe the Tron movie had something to do with a little bit of the run. Decent box office. It wasn't the best, but I might have to check that one out. Did you guys gonna check out Tron?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I traded a little bit of Tesla. I took a quick short at the beginning of the day when we reached that resistance level, but after that, I dropped it.
All right, well, let's get to the competition, right? I think we got a leaderboard to announce here. So let's go ahead, let's dive right into that. Let's take a look here. The Beat the Ackman live trading competition, of course, we're on the final day. This is the P&L challenge. And boy, oh boy, look at this leaderboard. There's someone at the top here with $490,000. And the best part, a win rate of 77%. So with $1 million, we're almost talking about 50% returns in one day. You can't beat this, really. You really can't.
So yeah, I mean, while we get that set up, we'll just remind you guys about some of the other things on watch. Apple getting a price target downgrade from Jefferies. And again, they keep kind of decrementing their price target in this stock by 60 cents, then $1.50, nothing super significant. Bloom Energy, though, was absolutely significant. It had a really nice gap up. Was not able to quite sustain that strength all day, but it gave you really good opportunities to the long side and the short side. Now, why was it moving? Because it made a $5 billion AI deal with Brookfield. We know AI absolutely on watch. Intel getting a downgrade today from Bank of America Securities. Kind of a scathing note here saying that they're not really sure that you can be banking on the company's foundry business when it doesn't have any outside customers. And then last but not least, Paramount Warner Brothers merger still on watch. Let's see if they can actually settle on a bid, because as of right now, reportedly, Warner Brothers finding the asking price a bit too low. How you guys doing over here?
Yeah. So regarding the competition, first of all, for those of you guys who participate, thanks so much. And those of you who missed it, we're going to have many more in the future. We had a great competition, 3 days that we traded against Bill Ackman, and then today the top P&L took it all. And again, this is the leaderboard. You can see it in a second, the leaderboard of the winners. We're going to announce it tomorrow on our live stream, and we're going to send an email. Of course, you don't need to track it. You will get it, no worries. And besides that, we can talk about trading, right? Whatever we traded today. Mitch, you want to start?
Yeah, GWH was definitely the top move of the day, right? I think we started seeing that one move to 7, all the way up to 14 on the peak. So trades like that definitely are the trades that you're looking for in a competition account. So definitely, these are the types of trades that you can be trading with Trade the Pool. Or there's people that like to short these crazy runners, right? And I think that that's the types of things that you can do on Trade the Pool. You don't got to be worrying about the borrow costs. You can just as simply hit the short button, right?
Yeah. So that's awesome. Guys, do you have any questions here for Mitch or for Michael? Definitely let us know here in the chat. Also, Palantir, just so you guys know, Monday, November 3rd, they will be releasing their earnings. So we have a confirmed earnings day for Palantir. PLTR, is that something you guys were looking at today?
Yeah, Palantir is always going to be a favorite pick, right, of many out there. I think at some point this is going to be probably one of the best short opportunities, but at this time I think we're definitely looking to see Palantir continue higher. At some point this AI bubble is going to break, but right now sure. it isn't the time.
Yeah, absolutely here. Party P asking, when will options come to Trade the Pool? So I mean, I guess I'll pose that to you guys before we get into the competition.
Yeah, so of course for Trade the Pool, we have different evals, right? Of course, there's not many props out there for stock trading, right? I think that's the biggest thing that we have available to you guys, right? There's a lot of now Forex futures out there, but if you're looking for stock trading, this is the prop firm for you, right? So take a look into it. We have swing and day trade accounts, max and flex. Some that are, of course, like kind of timed, you have 45 days, and some where you have an unlimited amount of time to get to the goal, right? I'm a funded trader on there, so if you guys haven't seen me before, I trade live every single day. I show everything, and I think that's the important thing too. You guys can clearly see the transparency and that we provide.
Yeah, and I mean, for decades, traders used to trade the normal way, bring your own capital, work hard, save money, bring your own capital, lose half of it at least in the first 6 months when you start to trade. And we actually changing that game when you don't need to put any type of money except from just a tiny fee, a minimum skin in the game in order to register, go through the evaluation. Once you pass the evaluation, you get funded, we split the profit. And that actually changes everything because you take your mind out of the money and you focus on performance. And once you detach yourself from that, you automatically become a better trader. And of course, when we set limits like daily pause or max loss and other rules, that will give you the boundaries. And once you stay within them and you work with that, you become a better trader. So that's the main goal here. Go and check us out at traderpool.com. Mitch, let's go over a few trades that we took today. We can do that?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look here. Pull up the Trade the Pool platform here, guys, so you guys can see certain trades. Let's go over that GWH trade, right? That was the best trade of the day.
For sure.
Definitely. So let's go back to that. This originally broke out from the 7th spot. So we're going to take a look into this, right? This was kind of like an earlier pattern here, but I think this is an important one to look at because a lot of times I'm looking for a big pop, right? Something what I call a show me move, right? And I'm looking for some pullbacks. This is exactly what this stock did. At first it did a nice little pop, started to come back down. You got a secondary pop. And then when you started to see this kind of pullback area, this is when I was starting to look at it. And this last little 690 attempt and then holding through this 7 was exactly the kind of the trigger for the trade. Once it started to get past through the 8th spot there, that's when I would say that, you know, you start to look for kind of selling into the strength, right? That's another thing that I think a lot of traders kind of have a tendency of struggling, which is selling into strength versus selling into weakness, right? So I think this is a really great breakout to try to sell into. And then maybe you could reload back towards the 9. And I like these kind of momentum plays where I'm selling the first rip and I'm using that money, the house's money now, to go ahead and continue trading that name. A lot of times we keep the unrealized and we're like, oh no, I'm gonna hold this name. But why not pay yourself that first, which is a nice rip, and then use that to actually size into the trade and get back in, right? Because in that way, I'm not really risking money that I didn't have. I'm risking profits that I've actually made.
100%, yeah.
It sounds really cool. I do want to let you guys know here about a small cap I'm seeing running much like GWH.
Nice.
Maybe this could be tomorrow's GWH. ELAB. This is PMGC Holdings. Now, I want to let you know I'm not seeing any news on it. I did already look. But the market cap here is significant, $3.53 million market cap. Really small float, about 610,000 shares, 3% short float, so nothing significant here. Is this the type of stock that you guys might look at for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's all about, when the small caps, it's about finding where the momentum is, right? And this clearly has a kind of what we'd call a day 1 move, right? Now we need to see if we're going to get that day 2 or day 3 move, right? I think that's what you really look for in the penny stock game. The ones that just go pop and drop in one day, those probably aren't the charts that you want to actually trade because it's very unlikely that you master that trade that one day. But on this stock, you can kind of look back, and that's what you want to look back in these stocks. I look back at the history, and does this stock make a day or 2 day type of move? You don't see too many runs here on stacking action. So that's what I want to see in penny stocks. So if you're looking at that, you want to see an actual pattern that in the past has gone 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day run. Okay, that's a stock that I want to watch.
Yeah, same goes for ELBM, right? Today made a massive move. If you bring up the chart, we can see that it started very nicely on the ELBM.
This is it?
It did?
Yeah.
So
you can see it on the hourly. I'll go to the hourly chart.
yeah. So it's actually started a massive move. It's not that, for sure. ELBM, BM.
EM?
Yeah.
ELAB?
No,
There we go, we
this
got
one.
it.
Yeah. And it made a massive move to the upside. It's actually created a formation before the opening bell, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the opening bell. I took a long on that pop, and then you can easily see, it continued to increase over and over, gave you a few pullbacks, a very nice pullbacks, and all of a sudden popped all the way to the 8. I closed it at around 650, 640. But those are the stocks, if you're looking for penny stocks, looking for a small cap, those are the stocks that you want to look for.
Yeah.
A strong momentum on pre-market, low float, all the goodies, and of course the formation that you can take from the hourly chart or the 15-minute chart.
I love this. Remember I gave you guys the rule of 3. I don't give it to too many. So if you see here on this specific stock, right? So you get stocks move in waves, right? So you see this first wave up, a pullback. Then second wave, a pullback. Third wave, pullback, the rule of 3, right? After that third pullback, you want to see strength and volume start to come in for the breakout. That's exactly what we got on this stock as you started to see the volume increase here at 6. And then you really got the breakout move when you get this volume to come right back in here on the 15 candle right here. And that's a nice little breakout with volume, which is what you're looking for. At that point, you can measure the flag action and maybe look for an extension from that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite the day for sure so far. We're already halfway through this recap. So, guys, do you want to give us, for our audience here, a little bit more about the winners of the Beat Ackman trading competition here at Trade the Pool? I guess look at the leaderboard here if we can.
Yeah, let's take a look back at here. Of course, the top one at 490,000, but right behind there we got 383 Urel Romain here coming in with an 83% win rate. And it doesn't only mean that you got to have a high win rate, right? Because you can see here there's a 41% win rate and also getting up there. Joshua coming in with $353,000. And there's a cool one here, Steven, right? Steve Nixon with a cool 261,000, but 100% win rate. So I'm thinking that he got one big winner and said, you know what, I'm going to call it quits. Can't blame the man if he did that. So, hey, another strategy for a competition, right? If you're trying to win, take a big shot, get that big winner, but maybe end the day. This is what's so hard for sometimes traders to do. When they get that big winner, they're thinking that they're going to stack the big winners, which is very unlikely, right? When you get outlier results, take that gift and run with it.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
Makes sense for sure. Yeah, I guess you guys have any more insight on what usually works in this competition?
Yeah, I will go with AMD to show one more strategy or setup that we can use, because a lot of the guys are obviously like to trade those penny stocks, but for those of you who like to trade those big caps, we can definitely look at AMD because it did an amazing job today on both sides, and I know Sean took that short from the top. But I actually took that long right from the bottom. So if you can put the pre-market session.
Yeah, let's put the pre-market session. Hold on 1 second here. I need to add pre-market.
On
time scale.
Yeah, moved a bit pre-market too on the Broadcom news as well, because of course OpenAI and Broadcom making a deal, AMD not liking that so much because they just had their OpenAI deal.
Alrighty, yeah. So the idea, I'll take them out.
Yeah, go for it.
Appreciate it. Alrighty, so if I'm going to the hourly chart, for example, here we go. The hourly chart, you can easily see that AMD got this nice move to the downside and actually catch this support area right here before it popped, right? So pre-market, just before the opening bell, it dropped, sorry, it was here, dropped to that support level. Right here, you can easily see that. And then if you go to the 1 minute chart, you can trade it and basically buy the dip on this one. So that was the, where is that? Okay. So that was the beginning of the day. It dropped to that support area, closed the gap of the pre-market or aftermarket, and then went straight to the upside. And of course, in most cases, it will give you a chance for a pullback. So if you miss the first drop, you can easily go for a pullback, or just, as I did, add more to your position. All the way to the top here, you also have a major liquidity level, and this is where Sean took the short, and I covered my long position.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that like a lot of times there's different ways to take trades, right? We were talking earlier today with the example of Bloom Energy in terms of a stock that was in play today. That long was actually really good off of some of those lows, and you go retest VWAP, but then you could have gotten a short earlier in the day or also even later in the day heading into the close, right? So I think I like that you mentioned that with AMD. There's always multiple ways to play a stock. It's really about how can you apply yourself and how can you, I guess, make the most of that catalyst and that opportunity. So I think that is really key. With that in mind, is there anything you guys are looking at heading into tomorrow? Maybe some sectors on watch. We know bank earnings are coming up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm watching to see what happens with this SMR breakout, because I've been watching NNE. You guys know I mentioned I come with trade ideas every Tuesday. So NNE has recently become the leader. Sometimes leaders and laggards can kind of switch roles. All of a sudden now you have NNE taking the lead, and that had a little bit longer consolidation. That's continuing to the upside. So I was waiting for SMR to kind of pick up. And I think that the kind of the downturn that we had on Friday kind of helped. Right? Because now a lot of traders were out of SMR, and then today, what did you see? The strength come right back in. And there was an actual high volume bar on that pullback, telling me more and more that probably people were using this trend line to go ahead and then buy, right? You could clearly see kind of that supportive line as it keeps coming back to that area. So that was an area to go ahead and take a step up, right? At this point, we could start looking to see if this starts to lead this nuclear trade back into play. You guys know I'm all about the themes, so that's what I'll be focusing on. How the theme plays out. Does GEV recover? OCLO, they all kind of work side by side. There's usually a leader and then that lag effect. So I'll be watching that space as one of the spaces that could be hot.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in addition to, we don't just have bank earnings, we also have, of course, tomorrow we've got Domino's, we have Johnson & Johnson, lots of different things that we're going to be reporting for sure tomorrow morning. Now later in the week too, we're going to have ASML, we're going to have TMC or Taiwan Semi, United Airlines, so certainly lots of opportunities beyond purely bank earnings. Now, for the banks, are there any specific banks you guys are going to be maybe looking at to trade, or even maybe longer term, because not all of these are viewed as really day trade friendly?
Well, you guys know how I like SoFi, so I'll just look for kind of financials to do a little bit better, right? That's what we need, a kind of rotation into play. But of course, Goldman Sachs. That's one that I look at all the time, and then what do? They beat, right? And I think that that's what I'll be watching. Another thing to look at is how also you get a lot of times Citi that comes in late. It usually comes in right at like 9 a.m.
8 a.m. usually, yeah.
Yeah, right at 8. Right at 8.
Yeah.
So I think this is the important one because sometimes you could have like really good earnings from JPM, and then like kind of it's following, and all of a sudden Cities is the one that breaks it in a direction. So when you get these stocks that report later, closer to the open, I think those are the stocks to pay attention to. So Citi is one that I always watch out because it could be that the banks are down, but then Citi doesn't even report the best earnings, but then all of a sudden the banks look great. Well, watch for that Citi to report to really swing things.
And you got to remember to watch the chart, right? Because you got to, maybe the earnings are great, but if the stock is already up and running very extended, then in most cases, even if the earnings are great, you will see a move down, right? So always watch the chart and understand what happened before, and then take into consideration the earnings data that comes up.
And I think one thing too with banks that I think is super, super important to remember is it's not always going to be EPS and revenue. It's also going to be the investment capital, right? What is being invested? How much are customers investing? Is that actually changing on a quarter-over-quarter basis? Is it getting worse? Is it getting better? I think the investment aspect is super huge for a lot of these banks. And remember too, this day one is usually a lot better for these bank earnings than day two. And by that I mean in terms of what reports in the first day. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, all coming tomorrow morning. Those are going to be a lot more closely watched sometimes than the names we get later in the week, like Morgan Stanley and Bank of America. They're going to be coming tomorrow. And then we've got Charles Schwab way later in the week. So that's, I think, important to remember as well. What's reporting when. And again, you can check all of that out on X at TTV Research if you want to take a look there. 8 minutes left, guys. Is there any other fun facts here about this contest that we want to go over, or more ideas for tomorrow?
Well, one thing I'll mention is Johnson & Johnson is going to be massive.
Yes.
Because everyone's watching the healthcare space with the recent Trump comments, right? This stock has been on a big rip. You also see a lot of volume it's probably when Pfizer kind of started to make their run, right? This is a big move that we need to keep an eye out, because if there's going to be rotation to healthcare, well, that's one way to keep this party going, right? So I'm going to keep watching this Johnson & Johnson to be a big read, and we got to look at the earnings, look at the comments made, right? I'm sure they're going to make comments about generic drugs and things like that. So keep your eyes to see what happens here. Of course, Johnson & Johnson is one of these stocks that's on a big rip right now. I want to see how this kind of starts to react. Are we going to go to value trade? Are we going to stick in growth trades? This is one of the things that you got to watch. I saw Apple selling off a little bit today, so I'm a little bit worried. What's going to happen here? Is it going to be a value rotation, growth rotation? Or are we actually going to maybe rotate away, right, and actually go into a real correction? That's why in a raging bull market, they always say, there's rotation at play, right? So continue to watch what's rotating here underneath the hood to stay with the bullish momentum. I'm seeing a stock, UAMY, continuing that move from the day. And what does that tell me? More minerals, action, that type of play. Lithium still on the radar, those types of plays. Hey, you guys know I'll keep bringing the themes right here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those rare earth minerals are probably going to continue to be on watch too, especially I think with all of the China-U.S. trade tensions, but then B, we know that the Trump administration is investing in a lot of these companies, right? We had TMQ, we had LAC, so I think I think this is certainly a space that's going to be hot for sure. Now, were you on LAC or TMQ? And then furthermore, I guess, do you have advice for how to play these types of names? You've got that big pop, but can they necessarily sustain that upward momentum? That's always
I will say I did sell the rip immediately on LAC, but I did have it at 350s, right? That was a swing trade put on idea right there, on trade the pool, did that idea live. And I think that's what we got to look for. I always look at the themes, right? So I actually usually look at like 2 or 3 quality names and then 2 or 3 speculative names, right? So in lithium, I'll give you like 2 or 3 speculative, right? LAC was one of them. I brought it here way before the move happened. And another one, LAR, is an Argentinian lithium name that I'm keeping an eye on. And SLI, it just broke 4. Those are your speculative names. But look at high quality like SQM, ALB. I think those are just starting. If you look at SQM chart, that usually goes on a yearly trend. not necessarily a daily or weekly trend. That stock's been down for 2 or 3 years and now starting to turn, right? These are the plays that I want to be in because a lot of people looked at lithium as the situation of EVs, right? EVs, batteries. But really now we're looking at lithium, not so focused about EVs, but more focused on how they can provide support for the power for these big data centers. And I think that is a surprising use case here of lithium that wasn't expected, let's say, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's a super good point, especially too with a lot of these utilities plays too. Bloom Energy, super to the upside. We know CEG rallied in tandem with that. VST Vistra, they're another utilities play that has a really strong correlation with AI, specifically because they're in Texas. And of course, the project Stargate is something that we're going to kind of see that correlation with, right? So I think that is super huge. Guys, we only have a couple minutes left. Is there anything else you want people to know about Trade the Pool right now, about what you guys offer, and I guess about this contest and the results of said contest?
Yeah, I guess this is the time to say, guys, we're the studio of Trader TV in Toronto. So we flew all the way, and we are going from here to Orlando to the Money Show. If you want to meet us there in a bar, grab a coffee, whatever it is, send us an email, let us know. We are more than happy to meet you guys. We're going to be in Orlando for the next few days and then going to New York City, to the New York Stock Exchange. We're going to enter there. We're going to stream live from there. And of course, again, if you want to meet us there, feel free to let us know. We'll be more than happy to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely meet everybody there. And guys, if you are a Trade the Pool trader, drop it in the chat. Let us know. I want to see everybody out there. I know someone was asking in the chat, guys, if you can answer, what are the prizes from this contest too? We saw all these awesome daily gains. What can the winners expect here?
Right, so we're talking about evaluation accounts. There will be a few tiers of that, from 5K all the way to the 100K. And you will be able to execute your trades on an evaluation account. Once you pass the bar, reach the target that we set, you go to the funded stage, and then we split the profit.
Yeah, exciting stuff. A lot of people too are asking, where can we find you guys on social media? Let us know what your social media accounts are, because a lot of people want to follow it up.
Yeah, of course, we got it at Trade the Pool. You guys can follow us on Twitter, but if you guys want to follow me specifically, I got at MoneyMitch_TTP. Of course, I come on all the time, guys. I'm going to continue bringing themes and ideas. That's what I'm all about, and I actually do this on a stream. We have our own live stream, right? We're on from Monday to Thursday, and I show it all underneath the hood. I always call it a way of giving back. I talk about a movie, pay it forward. I think all traders should pay it forward. There's always some mentor or somebody that taught you how to get to the level that you got to, so you might as well pay it forward for other traders. So come on over and learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, check out Trade the Pool and check out the streams as well. Money Mitch is usually on our stream around 8:45 a.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, so you can absolutely check that out. We also have Steve, the tileman of Trade the Pool. He's usually on Friday afternoon sometimes, so definitely lots of things to check out there. I guess any parting words, guys? 1 minute left of this stream.
I would say that the winners don't stop, right? I gave you AMD, right? I gave you SMR back in September, back in that time, right? I think LAC winner, Intel. We were talking about it with Brendan right here. And he was like, why Intel? Why? That's not a sexy name. It's like this. This is why you got to stick with the small words. And what we got to be looking for now is more exposure from the U.S. government, things like this that we can take. And the key thing is that there's something that's unexpected. When that unexpected thing can come to the market, that's really when we can make the most returns. So, hey, limited risk, of an ability to continue trading. And if you're a beginner trader and you're looking at somewhere else, I think you're personally doing it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, wise words. Thank you again here to Money Mitch and Michael of Trade the Pool for being here with us, and shout out to the whole Trade the Pool team for being with us in studio all day. With that, we're going to let you go. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving to those who celebrate, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Go Jays!
8:30 a.m. Eastern.
Go Jays, baby!
Let's go.
Pa!
Good show, good show.
Great job.
Thank you, Brendan.
Thanks for coming.
No, I appreciate it.
Appreciate everything. Enjoy.
Thank you. We'll say